the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new gods for their future security.
Oi! I see there's people here. Good evening and hello and welcome to our little Son of Liberty radio show. That is us. We are providing guards for our future security right here live every Friday night. We got some. This has been a wacky week. I'm going to tell you. There's some shit we're going to show you, but that's later on. We got some like really responsible stuff at the beginning of the show tonight. So let's just. Kevin's already here in the back room. Let's welcome our basement Twitterati guy.
You guys need to be quiet.
Are you an ass jack?
I was talking to the FDA guy. Look here, Mallory Michael. Oh, wait. RB.
We're going to show you some FBI shenanigans, or not FDA shenanigans.
There are shenanigans.
Yeah, there's some shenanigans going on. But yeah, Mallory's here, and Michael's here, and Omicidal or RBMKII is here. There's people here, and there'll be more people that filter in through all the shared links. I did share the links, but hey, if you're free and you want to go on your tweets right now, you can go ahead and tweet out the show if you want. Actually, I need to go to my Twitter real quick because I need to pin tonight's show to my profile so that it's the top thing on my doohickey here on my feed. Is that what it's called on Twitter? Your feed?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like it's the top thing on my feed bag right now. Raj is already retweeting my show, but he's not in the chat room. Where the hell are you, Raj? Unless you're watching on Twitter.
He's sleeping. Leave him alone.
Yeah. See, Omicidal is he's checking the show notes and he sees that his little town is mentioned in Australia. There's actually two stories in the show notes from Aussie land that we're going to talk about. But first and foremost, Kevin, this week a Twitter friend, Steve's Vapes, reached out and he sent me a link to his comments on a recent FDA public comment hearing for product standards in tobacco products. Now, he actually sent me a link to his actual clip, but then he sent me a clip of the actual full doohickey from the FDA's official YouTube channel. So I went and I downloaded the entire thing, for our edification. Now I did go through. There's a couple cigar guys that made comments, and I cut them out because that really doesn't have anything to do with us. I mean, they were some excellent. I'm not, I'm a huge cigar guy, but for us, for the purposes of our entertainment tonight, I kept it to the vaping comment people and the anti-vaping people, and you're going to see a trend. You're going to see a trend when we go through this. So it is, I think, like 40 minutes long, even after I cut everything out. So we may speed through some of it, but I think for our purposes tonight, and since Jason or Steve's Vapes sent it to me, I thought we would have Steve's or Jason. I don't know why he's not Steve or he's got two names. We're going to figure that out in a minute. But we're going to call him the Vaping Undertaker. How about that?
That's right.
Yeah. We're going to. But anyway, let's introduce Jason before we introduce the video.
Fine.
There's Jason's or Steve's Vapes or
Billy Bob Joe Jim.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
He's one of those Okies. I have nothing but respect for my Oklahoma advocates, because some of the best guys that I've known in the last 12 years of vaping advocacy have been Oklahoma's heroes. Our very good friend from Oval, back in the day, Oval was the very first state advocacy group, and that was Sean Gore. And then I have quite a lot of friends in the business. Matthew Eaton, Vape. I have devices here that they made. Plus, they had some pretty awesome e-liquids as well. But I think they have gone into the pot business now, so I don't know if they're still making the vaping products. But great people like that. Matt Eaton is this big, huge hunk of a dude. Like, he's like 6'7", and he's like keto, and he only eats like healthy food, and he works out like 25 hours a day or something. He's a brick shit house, but he's the nicest guy in the industry that I walked when we were with the vaping militia. If we needed a sponsor, I'd be like, hey, let's go talk to Matt. And Matt's a great guy. But anyway, Jason or Steve, tell us about yourself, Jason or Steve. And you muted yourself before you started talking.
I didn't mute myself.
I saw it go mute.
Yeah. Is my audio good?
Yeah, you're great. So say hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Hey, so I started a YouTube channel as kind of an offshoot of Mike Vapes. He's always talking about the guy behind the camera, Steve. And I have some things in the pipeline, like exhaust fan reviews, lanyard reviews, his spare cotton that he always uses, just stupid shit, But, as I got further along into this, it kind of took a life of its own. I stopped smoking, started vaping. I've been a dual user for a long time, and then started watching videos, trying to bring myself up to speed and on current vaping devices, and reached out to some people in China, and they've been sending me some stuff already for review, that kind of stuff. I really want to do review items for things that keep me from smoking, not necessarily because they're cool or whatever in vogue at the moment. But I've been trying to talk my wife into stop smoking. She smokes currently. She's vaping as well, which is good. It's keeping her from smoking so much. So that's kind of where I am with this. And I don't remember who it was on Twitter posted a link to sign up for the FDA to talk about the tobacco product manufacturing practices, TPMPs. And from there, this just kind of took off. You know,
It's a rabbit hole.
I've been a warrior for cannabis in Oklahoma. When cannabis was legalized, I actually had a lawsuit against the city where I live and actually beat the city in cannabis law for home grow. And so I've always been trying to be the Robin Hood to help people that can't speak for themselves or don't have the voice for it. And so I've always tried to be that kind of person in my life, just to make myself feel better or make everybody else feel better about themselves, So I've always tried to be a good advocate for a whole lot of things in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're going to fit in here just fine. That's kind of
and good whiskey too.
Well, that too.
He said a word I understand there.
I know he did. I know. Where's Fig?
Speaking Fig just followed me on Twitter this week.
Yeah, he did me too. He's
I don't know. Did he lose his Twitter or
no?
But I was like, why is he just now following me? What the hell, man? We're brothers. But so you were you listening during the entire doohickey for the FDA? Were you listening?
Yeah,
were you watching the video?
Yeah, I watched it from the first, and then I found out where I was in line, and it was a portal just like SteamYard is,
Mm-hmm.
And so, I watched up to my point. They give you like a minute bell to let you know you're upcoming. And so I spoke for 5 minutes. I got cut off at the end. I actually left my office and at work and came back and found out they were opening up for people that didn't speak, that actually signed up that didn't speak.
Yeah, you sort of ninja'd there.
I did, and they kind of caught on to it. They went ahead and let me speak for another whatever. I wanted to finish what I had written. And so, behind the scenes, I had AVM help coaching me as a vaping user to help them get a few words in. And also Dr. Gardner provided some input. Allie Vapes, she proofread what I had written. Everybody had some edits in on this. So I was reaching out to Twitter and, 3 or 4 people. I had the AVM lobbyist in Washington call me. And so it kind of took a life of its own, and I was pretty excited about it. I knew it was very important that for someone as a vapor or just a user, speak about the tobacco product. If you want to call them a tobacco product, I don't think they're a tobacco product at all, but you'll hear that.
FDA says they are. Congress says they are.
Of course they do.
Not for long.
But so I'm gonna throw some mud right now. Not at you though, Jason/Steve.
Yeah.
I was, and you'll notice as we go through, none of the big vaping advocates were there. I heard their names. I heard them call their names. And none of them were there. Like
I reached out to a few.
I cut it out, and I was like, as I was cutting, they were calling out names, and they were like crickets, and they would move to the next person.
Right.
And I heard 5 or 6 names in there that had signed up that were people that, you would expect. They never showed. What's really bad, Kevin? Ron Tully. Was there. Ron Tully. If Ron Tully, who
I don't know what.
he's not in the Hooskow anymore, but who was in the Hooskow,
ne'er-do-weller,
can go up and talk, I'm highly disappointed. Our Mark Anton was there.
Yep.
Mark
he
Anton
provided a little input to me. He actually was writing his own thing. I was trying to reach out to him for guidance.
I was really disappointed because they said Dolores Orlando, and she didn't make it. And then at the very end, when they were bringing people back in, she was able to get in. So we love Dolores. We love our Florida smoke-free people. But yeah, I was highly disappointed because you know who did show up? Meredith showed up.
Fucking Meredith.
Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids showed up.
Fucking Meredith.
All the people that UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, they showed up.
Of course.
And I'm just like, fuck. How are we? I mean, obviously, I work. I have to request a day off 3 weeks in advance. Like, I can't have a day off. Like, I have to schedule my doctor's appointments 3 weeks in advance because I work in healthcare. And if I don't show up to work, I have 8 appointments that somebody else is going to have to try to see. So I get it. I actually didn't know anything about it, to tell you the truth. But, I don't make $1 from this industry. I don't think Jason/Steve makes any money off this industry.
Nope.
Kevin doesn't make any money off this industry. We give our money to people. Actually, I don't anymore because I make my own liquid and I do buy hardware. But, other than that, it's disappointing to me that these people aren't showing up to protect their own fucking businesses.
Nope.
It is sad. But anyway, all right, let's see. I'm going to present. I have 2 versions of the story, but since Steve says he's not in any hurry to get out, we're going to play the long form. We're going to play the longer video. So if you got a drink, top it off.
Hydrate.
Because we're gonna get your coffee, Kevin. Whatever it is. Whatever it is.
That one, I got that one. I got this one over here. I'm ready.
We're gonna pack a lunch here. Here we go. Let's see. All right, open the file. We're gonna present this.
It is my pleasure to introduce.
All right, this is the video here, and I did trim it, but we do have what's the Brian King's introduction. He's gonna be the first person here, and he talks for a few minutes, but we may just skip through some of it. But let's at least see the introduction of Brian King here.
CTP Director, Dr. Brian King.
Great. Thanks, Nicola. And good morning. Welcome, everyone.
Well, hello.
I appreciate you joining us virtually today. As Nicola noted, I am Brian King, the Director of the Center for Tobacco Products, and I am the presiding officer for today's hearing. I want to thank you all for being here today.
I did notice, like, he just said he's the head of tobacco products. Like, he's asking a question, like he's not sure that that's what he actually is there for.
Is he Canadian?
No, he's American. I think he's.
I don't think so. He sounds Canadian.
It could be. He could be a naturalized American citizen.
Right.
Yeah, but he says I'm the head of tobacco products. Like, he's not sure that that's what. I'm just wondering.
We'll be right back.
To comment on FDA's new proposed requirements for tobacco product manufacturers, which relate to the manufacture, design, packing, and also storage of their products.
You see that? Also storage of their products?
I do want to reinforce that although no tobacco product is safe, this proposed rule is intended to minimize or prevent additional risks associated with these products. Once finalized, it would establish requirements for tobacco product manufacturers that we believe will help protect public health and also help ensure products comply with the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act.
Now, I have, all right, so Food, Drug, and Cosmetics Act. So, food. How are tobacco products supposed to comply with food, drug, or cosmetics?
I mean, correction, deemed tobacco products.
Well, yeah, but I'm just, I'm wondering. I mean, I get it. I don't get it, but
You know what I like? Just as an observation, I like seeing bullshit in sign language because I didn't know what it looked like until now.
Actually, I do know that. I actually do know the sign for that. I can't. Let's see. You got to make the bullhorn here.
Is that the bullshit?
You got to make the bullhorn here, and then do this at the end like this, and that is bullshit. That is American Sign Language for bullshit. I do actually know that one.
Oh.
But okay. No, well, he's flying the rod over there.
For example, the requirements for proposing would help minimize or prevent the manufacture and distribution of tobacco products contaminated with foreign substances, things like metal and glass and plastic, which we have found in tobacco products in the past. The proposed rule would also establish several requirements related to the identification, tracing, and also corrective actions for tobacco products that don't meet specifications or are contaminated, including for tobacco products that have already been distributed. In the event of an issue, the requirements would require manufacturers to take corrective actions, which, for example, could include conducting a recall. Additionally, the proposed rule would help address issues related to inconsistencies between e-liquid product labeling and the actual concentrations in e-liquids.
Now, I want to. So he's talking about concentrations in e-liquid. There are multiple times throughout this presentation where different speakers are talking about incorrect labeling of nicotine concentration in e-liquids, and if this is a thing, if this is true, and this is this has been something that they've brought up at least several times a year for the last 10 years, that they have tested 0 milligram e-liquid and that they found nicotine in 0 milligram e-liquid. So, yeah, I mean, I vape 12 and 18 milligram. Kevin vapes 18 milligram. And I would know if I got something that was like 6 milligram, I would know it. Yeah. I don't know what Jason vapes, but
6 milligram restricted direct lung. Yeah, mainly.
Yeah, I don't have any idea what 6 milligram would not satisfy me at all.
But I chain vape all day long, so
I would be a grumpy motherfucker at 6 milligrams.
Wait a minute.
No, I don't. I don't have the opportunity to vape.
You don't
all the time. I'm only in between each patient if I'm on the road or at lunchtime if I'm in a facility all day. So
in my billet box, I vape like 12 milligram, 50-50. So that if I can't blow clouds, that's where I'm at.
Do you have a billet box?
Oh yeah. I've been.
Do you have a billet box?
Yeah, I've got several. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
For the record, Patrick, 6 would make you more of a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Not a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Back to the clusterfuck.
Yeah, back to the clusterfuck. Yeah.
We do know that such variability can be misleading to consumers, which can potentially intensify addiction and also the exposure to toxins.
Exposure to toxins, Kevin.
Now, today you'll hear more about the specifics of the proposed rule shortly, but I do want to note that our proposal is comprehensive and it does encompass all aspects of the tobacco product manufacturing process. Throughout the rulemaking process, we do remain committed to transparency and also stakeholder engagement. As many of you are already aware, FDA Center for Tobacco Products did recently undergo an external review by an independent panel of experts convened by colleagues in the Reagan-Udall Foundation. As I've noted several times publicly, we welcome this opportunity, and we issued our response to that report earlier this year, including our vow to address all 15 of those recommendations that were outlined in the Foundation's report. One key recommendation from that report was an opportunity for enhanced transparency with stakeholders. That said, public meetings and oral hearings, just like today's, are a really meaningful way for CTP to follow through on that commitment, and also to enhance transparency and engage stakeholders in activities across our center and our full portfolio of work.
Our center and our full portfolio. So this is doublespeak and BS. I mean,
talking in circles.
Those of us that have been around for a while, they've promised transparency and communication since they deemed us. Literally, yeah.
They're working on it, Patrick. I don't know enough. Diligently.
I'm just saying.
I know, they told me.
I mean, they have it now recorded into posterity. Oh, well, we did a thing, and we talked to people. But, I mean, we didn't actually do anything, but we did speak to them. We did have an ANPRM for stuff, but we didn't address any of the comments. We're just, we're very open to communication from these people.
We want to know what else you're thinking so we can go against that too.
I'm going to skip through this jackass.
Aw. Is she also a jackass?
Well, she's the host. She's the host of the morning. There we go. So everybody that spoke, there's a little timer up here that says 5 minutes. So that's what everybody that got to speak got 5 minutes. Except for Jason, because he snuck back in and got another 3 minutes before they realized that he had already spoken. But
fuck the FDA.
I do have a separate video, Jason, that I can save, that I have already saved with both of your comments and 1 8-minute video
spliced together.
If you want me to send that to you, it
that'd
does
be great.
have better quality audio than the one that you sent me. But anyway, let's continue.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we sure can.
This is Laura Searcy, and I am representing the National Association of Pediatric Nurse Practitioners. And I'm speaking today on behalf of more than 8,000 pediatric nurse practitioners and pediatric-focused advanced practice nurses who are committed to providing optimal health care to children. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today and add our perspective as pediatric experts and advocates for children to this conversation. We very much appreciate the importance of this rule and commend the FDA for taking these additional steps to prevent product problems and protect the public from health risks from exposure to foreign substances, contaminants, and unintentional injuries due to product design flaws and lack of manufacturer's controls. Of particular importance are the provisions of this rule that address the current variability in nicotine concentrations with.
See, there it is. There's the variability of nicotine concentration. That's the second time that's been mentioned.
In product lines, especially when nicotine concentrations exceed what is stated on the label. As the FDA has recognized, all tobacco products have inherent risks to public health. As the FDA considers the range of comments that you will receive, I ask you to keep top of mind the unique spectrum of risks to children and youth from the variety of flavored, high nicotine content products still readily accessible by youth. Proposed section 1120.42 would require manufacturers to conduct a risk assessment, including risk identification of all known or reasonably foreseeable risks associated with the tobacco product and its package.
Okay, so risk assessment testing. So I don't even know how much that costs, but I can promise you that to hire the more than one expert that you would have to hire to do this reporting is outside of every independent e-liquid manufacturer's capability. I mean, this would be on par with the population level research that we've talked about several times on the show. And then to try to report each and every possible risk factor.
Well, Patrick, let me ask you.
It's so open-ended that it's not reasonable.
I haven't heard this, ladies. American Pediatrics, right?
No, she's the nursing practitioner, Pediatric Nurse Practitioners Association.
Okay. I thought it was American Pediatrics, but if they have allegedly variable risks, and she's pediatrics of any kind, along with the American Pediatrics or any other nursing with children, what have they seen so far? What are the symptoms? What are the cases? What are the outcomes of these risks? What are these children doing?
Do you not remember the number of school nurses that have administered Narcan to kids?
Yes, I am. Oh, yeah, of course.
Who've been vaping? I mean, obviously they're. Apparently, it's so deadly that they're seizing at school, and the nurses are having to give them Narcan at school. That one school resource officer touched a vape and got sick, and they had to rush him to the emergency room. These kids have been walking around with them in their pockets, and nothing happens. And then somebody sees them vape, they drop the vape, and the school resource officer touches it, and then he goes into anaphylactic shock or something and has to be rushed to the hospital. These kids have been handling it for all this time and had no problems. Now, Steve/Jason is now learning from you, Kevin, with the pointy finger thing.
You people.
Didn't nobody tell you that it's very rude to point your finger at people?
Point at people.
My dad would say, "I'm going to break that finger off if you don't quit pointing it."
Where's her face? Who is this? What is her name?
She's on. Cersei. She's on the call. She's not on a computer. She's on the call.
Including normally associated risks with the use of the product. I would ask the FDA and the industry to consider how provisions of this rule can be implemented and enforced to mitigate the already well-documented inherent risk of use to these products in the pediatric population when you finalize this regulation. Nicotine and concentrations currently available are toxic, especially.
Now, I do have to say, Addie, that if you go to a pediatric nurse practitioner, you're not. That's not the type of nursing that you need. You need a gerontologist. I'm just, just pointing out that you're not in the right age group for a pediatric nurse. I'm just dropping that out there.
Young children who often mistake flavored oral nicotine products for candy or regular gum. Since 2020.
What? Okay, so she says that kids are confusing oral nicotine products for candy.
Well, now that's a medical device, right?
Well, that's over the counter though. And the problem is have I ever done a story on here of some kid being rushed to the hospital for taking a nicotine lozenge? No, because
I have two. I have two of them. One in Florida, one in, I believe, Chicago.
I have not seen those. Not in the plethora. You don't see kids overdosing on nicotine gum, which is legal for them to purchase if they're 12 and over.
12 and over.
Yeah. Well, you don't want them to smoke or nothing. You want them to have
finalize this regulation. Nicotine and concentrations currently available are toxic, especially to young children who often mistake flavored oral nicotine products for candy or regular gum. Since 2020, there's been a marked increase in poison control calls for nicotine-containing products. I would ask that if strengthened requirements.
Now I have to stop. Now she's saying there's been an uptick in calls to poison control centers on nicotine products. So if a child if mom's a vapor and mom leaves her e-liquid on the counter and little Jimmy comes and gets some on his hands and mom calls the poison control center and the poison control center says just wash his hands. That gets logged as a call,
as a trigger call. Yeah.
So just because, obviously there's going to be more calls over the years, depending on what year she started at, just because more products are on the market, A, and B, all of the the body parts groups have been brainwashing people to the point where they're super hyper fearful of these products now. So obviously every little thing that would be not even important if people understood the product, these scared moms
calls.
Toothpaste.
I think toothpaste was in there.
Toothpaste is the number one. The last time I checked, the number one call for poison control centers was toothpaste.
I can't find
sanitizer
Jake.
Was number two.
I can't find Jake in the short amount of time, but Jake hand sanitizer was pre the bad thing, 2018, 2019. I warned your pal Jerry in 2020 that was going to happen in
because they come in flavors. They come
way to yeah, well, of course.
It's not really flavors. They come in scents. But speaking of the thing, after I pointed out to Kevin that you can't mention the thing on the show, I got an email right after the show last week. I actually screenshot it and sent it to Kevin, telling me that they were removing a show that we did about 3 years ago about murder hornets and man bear pig.
Hey, we're cutting edge. Don't be laughing.
and I can promise you, I have never, ever on this show said anything negative about masks, about the vaccine, because I had to go. I'm fully vaccinated. I have never said anything negative about those things on the show. And I almost want to go and listen to the show and see what I said that could possibly be deemed dangerous, misinformation. But tobacco. Yeah, they actually removed one of my shows, and they sent me an email saying, we have removed your show because of questionable comments about the thing that we won't say out loud. So that, I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I have never, like, other than making fun of the Surgeon General, other than that. But yeah, so it is a real thing. You guys may be saying that I'm overreacting, but I showed Kevin. They sent me an email, and it was a show from 2 years ago, which was ridiculous. But anyway, let's keep going and listening to this Cersei woman.
Requirements for child-proof packaging of products, especially.
Well, we already have product standards required. I mean, that we, for child-proof bottles. I mean,
especially where e-liquids and oral tobacco products are concerned. If it's feasible to consider strengthening those regulations in context of this regulation, would you please consider doing so? Also, I would ask if there is an opportunity, again, in the context of FDA authority within the scope of this regulation, to improve labeling in the area of warnings on labels of nicotine products, in particular your gums and oral products. Currently, the label of FDA-approved therapeutic nicotine gum states, and I quote, "Keep out of reach of children and pets. Pieces of nicotine gum may have enough nicotine to make children and pets sick. Wrap pieces of gum that are used in paper and throw away in the trash. In case of overdose, get medical help or contact a poison control center right away." Currently, the only label on commercial nicotine gums that are available in strengths that are up to 3 times the strength of therapeutic gum is that, quote, "This product contains nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical." I also want to state a concern about the length of time between when the rule is approved and when companies are expected to comply. 2 years to 6 years for small tobacco manufacturers. If I can put that in context, a child who is entering 6th grade would now be in college before provisions of this rule would protect them.
Well, they'd be vaping by then.
Yeah, sure. They're going to be buying illegal cigarettes by then, because vaping products are going to be gone, except for the black market. I mean, if we're projecting a 6th grader to college now, a freshman in college, in the next 6 years, the only thing that's going to be available in the market are big tobacco products. All the mom and pops they're going to have to shutter their doors. There's not going to be any e-liquid, guys like Charlie Noble who I have no commerce with these guys other than I like their pistachio tobacco. Everybody's going to be gone. They're going to be in Europe. I mean, the smart companies are building their European business models right now. They're finding partners in Europe that can manufacture their products. They're closing their U.S. manufacturing products or laying off U.S. employees. And they're just going to be getting a check in the mail every month for somebody else for their cut of their products being sold in Europe and Asia, because
I'm going to be buying my products from England, basically.
yeah, you know, I have a friend in Greece who will drop ship me stuff if I need to.
Yep.
I mean, literally, like the way this is going, not to be a jackass and a negative Nelly, but I haven't seen any change in trajectory. These lawsuits that are being filed, if I can find holes in them, if I can find ways for FDA to squirrel through and crush them, then I'm sure their multi-million-dollar attorneys can do it as well.
Chuckleheads are us is on the case.
I mean, I don't even want to start talking about the attorneys that we trust and we praise in the vaping world and their insanity. But anyway, let's keep going.
And just a final statement, just to put in context, currently we have over 3 million U.S. youth reported using commercial tobacco products, with flavored e-cigarettes being the favored product.
Flavored e-cigarettes.
I have in my possession a high capacity, high nicotine content, disposable e-cigarette.
I have in my possession a high capacity magazine semi-automatic rifle that you would call an assault weapon or a weapon of war. I mean, what the hell does what is high capacity? What does this woman know anything about?
10,000 puffs.
Well, those fucking Chinese will build anything if you tell them to. I'm just saying.
Don't share this till she's done.
Responsible business people were in charge. These fucking disposable things nobody wanted them. Nobody sold them. Everybody was on page, and then these fucking FDA assholes come in and start making nonsensical bullshit regulations that are not based in reality. What happens? The black market takes over. People start ordering shit from Alibaba and Fast Tech and all these Chinese things, ordering cases of them and selling them out of the back of their cars. And then the vape shops have to compete. So the vape shops are like, well, if this is what they want, this is what we'll buy. I mean, this is a supply and demand. We are a capitalist society, and this is how it works. If the buyers come in and demand it enough, the vape shops will buy it. And that's what happened. We held the disposables at bay for 8 years. And then here in the last 2 years or so, they've just taken over because we allowed the black market to supersede the local vape shops.
Right.
Yep. All right, let's keep going.
Cigarettes being the favored product. I have in my possession a high capacity, high nicotine content, disposable e-cigarette that single device contains in excess of 2 cartons worth of nicotine.
So it takes 2.5 weeks for the thing to be empty.
Bull.
Don't start with me in the math.
If it holds 2 weeks, 2 cartons of cigarettes, I mean,
I'm calling bullshit on that.
But it's the same argument they have with Juul. Oh, well, that little Juul pod has as much nicotine as a whole carton of cigarettes. Yeah, but the thing is if you vape it, it's going to take you the same amount of time that it would take you to smoke a pack of cigarettes. Do
you want them to smoke the cigarettes?
Yeah, what you're saying is that you're using verbiage to scare people, but
exactly.
The fact of the matter is it is to take the place of a pack of cigarettes.
Replaces.
It's not like they're going to take 2 or 3 puffs and it's going to be empty. That's what they want people to think, is that it's a short-term thing. And in the grand scheme of things, if you do a pod a day, that's what they're meant to be. I mean, I hate Juul. I think the technology is sharp, but I don't like nicotine salts. I never have, and I never liked the Juul. But yeah, let's see. Let's finish this. She's got 15 seconds left.
And I would just ask the FDA, in the context of this regulation and with other areas within your authority, to please try to get these unauthorized products off the market and protect our kids from the increasing levels of nicotine dependency we're seeing. Thank you very much.
So I actually have no problem with them removing the black market bullshit items that have added themselves, and technically FDA has the authority to do it. I mean, they could easily do it because we have 8816. The problem is a lot of us in the industry, or not us in the industry, a lot of responsible people in the industry did everything possible not to bring out new products after 8816. But then everybody else started doing it, making money. So then they had no choice but to bring out shit after the 8816 just to compete. And now if they removed every e-liquid that was not on the market on 8816, you're going to lose half the market right there. Boom.
Yeah.
But Kevin's sharing something here. What are you sharing, Kevin?
I'm sharing the Victor share screen, presenting
Did you see
the question
Victor's in the room.
I see Victor. So I asked this question, and it's: I'm an children are treated for addicted to nicotine each year. I've asked the AA president for, and there must be by now, mounds of records of treatment with an epidemic at that time going on in 2018. Where are my stats, my whatever I put in on there, case records, arrest records, can those be produced? That's 2018. So they can kiss my ass, pretty much. Any of the save the children bullshit, if there's some kind of problem going on, we'd have heard all about it by now.
Yep.
You have up to 5 minutes to comment.
All right. So this, I believe, is Jason/Steve's first appearance. So we're gonna give our undivided attention to Jason/Steve.
You can just say Jason. It's
Please
fine.
proceed, Jason Hahn.
That's my way of being annoying.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for the invitation. My name is Jason Hodge. I'm a private e-cigarette user.
Now, I do have to say that Jason does clean up pretty good.
Well, yeah.
I'm a funeral director. I've got to clean up good.
I mean, here, let's see. Let's look at him now.
Let's do a side by side.
And then look at him here. Look, he looks like a responsible adult person in one of these pictures.
He's
Combustible tobacco product user 25 years. Somewhere near 2010, I discovered nicotine vaping. I was a dual user of combustible tobacco and vapor products until 6 months ago when I completely stopped smoking combustible tobacco. I have been 100% smoke-free since that time. I've been an Oklahoma State Board licensed funeral director and embalmer for 23 years. During my career, I've helped thousands of families deal with the death of a loved one. Statistics now show that Oklahoma has the highest prevalence of combustible tobacco use per capita in the United States. The general public does not have to imagine that tobacco use contributes to a very high number of deaths in Oklahoma, and moreover, the U.S. and the world. Anecdotally, I've never seen a death attributed to nicotine vaping in my whole career. Tobacco, on the other hand, it has its own statistical section on a death certificate, a simple yes or no box as to whether tobacco contributed to the death. I see it every day. Nicotine vaping has no such box on a death certificate because it hasn't caused a death. Despite governmental overreach and artificially technically deeming nicotine vapes or e-cigarettes as tobacco products, nicotine vaping is not tobacco. Though I am thankful for today's public hearing, the FDA appears to be doing everything it can to limit input from industry and consumers alike. This could be made more fair by encouraging the FDA representative of the general public to interact with informed adult nicotine vapors. You need to understand why these products are so important for adult smoking cessation. Reasonable, evidence-based standard manufacturing regulations and consumer protections are things that users of vapes have been seeking since the early days of nicotine vaping. Yes, we all want safe products. Regulating vaping products like medical products, as evidenced by some of these proposed manufacturing practices, is not reasonable. The nicotine vapor industry has been self-regulating.
Steve, Jason.
Yeah.
I will have to correct you on the self-regulating BS that you just said on here. By and large, they have not. They have done a piss poor job of self-regulating. That's why we have so many illegal products, and that's why when we asked for batch numbers on like as a group, we've asked for standards. We've asked for them to step up and create their own like industry agreed upon standards. They would never sit at the table and do it. So I would say that that's not true.
I'll
Plus
give you that.
And we do have a vast number, and I'm not going to say that
that's one demerit.
That's really the only one.
Yeah, I know. Believe me.
We still have vape shops that sell to kids.
So,
I mean,
okay, answer me this. So a big company like Jam Monster.
Yeah.
So
I know those guys.
Have they been duping everybody all along because they put out a quality product and, you know, have they self-regulated? Yes, they've got sterilized clean rooms that they produce their product in. You know, if you're buying a good name brand product that has actual good labeling and it's not sold out of a trunk of a car, isn't that somewhat of a self-regulating industry, like for these name brand?
Yes.
Well, there are people that are selling Jam Monster out of the back of their car.
Right.
I mean, they aren't doing it, but there are people. I mean, they will sell to anybody that wants to buy. As long as they buy the minimum quantity, they'll sell to anybody that has the appropriate, you know, tax papers and stuff. And then Joe Bob will go sell it in a flea market somewhere, or
how do you know my name?
But the general gist of what I was getting at was, other than store mixed vape juice, vape e-liquid in a store that they've mixed in their back room, I don't trust that. I've never trusted house juice. I've never trusted house juice. I would rather trust a name brand personally that actually has a reputation on the line than some.
Yeah. There are still hundreds and hundreds of vape shops that still mix in the back room.
Right. Yeah. We have them here too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Jeffrey and James have joined us.
Yeah, I saw that. Jeffrey. But yeah, I mean, AIMSA was an organization that was out early on that wanted to produce an e-liquid standards organization, and if every e-liquid manufacturer in the company had agreed to it, they had minimum manufacturing standards that were easy. Well, not super easy, but relatively easy to comply with. And, you know, they agreed to inspections and things like that. But, you know, people wouldn't do it because it would make their I mean, I don't know how long you've been. Oh, you just said how long you've been vaping. But when I first started buying e-liquid, it was $29 for a 30 ml bottle.
Right.
And, you know, I know what the markup is, but back in those days, those companies could have easily taken some of that $25 worth of profit and turned it into their dues for AIMSA.
Or a lobbyist to actually
don't even get started on the politics. Yeah, I'm just talking
no,
about
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, I mean, it's sad. Back when Fig was on the show, Fig led the charge. He got some of the biggest manufacturers in the world to agree to pay for the state organizations to pay their national dues. Almost every state in America, because they weren't ponying up to pay for their own fucking lobbyists.
Right.
So yeah, I don't even want to start on that conversation.
Yeah.
Irresponsible manufacturers.
Right.
I could do a whole show on that.
We should.
Oh dear God, you would not even. Oh, the YouTube. If you say bad words in the first 5 minutes of your video, I mean, they don't promote my videos anyway because I'm not a super YouTuber. But I was told that if you say bad words in the first 2 or 5 minutes of your video, that it automatically, the algorithms try to hide your video.
We're in a trend.
So I'm already screwed because I think we said jackass within the first 2 minutes of the show or 3 minutes of the show today. So, but yeah. But anyway, let's keep going with your kick-ass FDA comment here because I got nothing but respect for somebody that will try or that actually pulled one over and got an extra 3 minutes.
Since its inception, and so far, the industry has succeeded in moving millions of people away from combustible tobacco, more than any government agency or billionaire philanthropist. Proof of less harm and efficacy are evidenced by the FDA's authorization of 23 adult nicotine vaping products so far, though I want to express some concern that 100% of those products are made by Big Tobacco. Most are basically Model T antiques. Few are used by adult vapors. And the only products authorized for tobacco are tobacco flavored, which most adults don't want. I'm not sure how authorizing products that no one will use to quit smoking is appropriate for the protection of public health.
Now, I know that one of those products I actually did on the show. The Enjoy.
I got a question.
The Enjoy is actually a pretty damn good device.
Yes, it is.
How do you keep doing this statement without cussing?
Oh, well.
I'm super proud.
And he's got his suit and tie on. He every time he's going to say a curse word, he just feels the tie.
You see my forehead bulging? Do you see my forehead bulging? I was mad.
Yes, Addy, I know that you promote the channel, but I'm just saying that the YouTube internal algos don't.
He promotes my Twitter too, so.
Oh, I mean, everybody that's in this, all the chuckleheads that are in the chat room, this is the core of our Twitter army. These
James
are all superstars on Twitter.
Redfern is my homeboy, so he and I have teamed up on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. Phil is the rodent. He's actually watching somewhere because in a few minutes, if I say something about Phil, I'll get a tweeter alert that he has.
He'll be like, "Boom."
Like you said, my name on your fucking show.
Did you like the billionaire philanthropist?
Yes,
I did.
In that?
You got to get
there's a lot of this going on, and
philanthro-colonial guy there. You're blooming idiots. Well, this now I do have to ask: am I the only one that sees Keenan and Kel over here? This guy looks just like? Is
that the White Castle guy?
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Something Burger. They did a movie. Keenan Thompson. Yeah,
yes.
Here I'm gonna find a picture of Keenan Thompson just so that I can ask.
Make a comparison. The eloquence in which you
better picture of Keenan
this,
Thompson here.
Jason,
here, I'll
is
get
unbelievably good.
This one's very similar, actually. Let's open this one in a new window here. Come on, open image in a new tab.
Something something Dr. Charles Gardner, he piped in a lot of edits for me. He and I were bouncing back and forth for a week, and he's a pretty good mind with the inside of the feds, and
He doesn't. Yeah.
and he's been on the inside and worked for big tobacco, basically, and we have to have allies like that.
Yeah. He doesn't like us, by the way, just so you know.
I mean, look at that guy. Look.
Well, you're right. You're right.
Look at that guy.
He doesn't like you guys.
Oh, Patrick, play the clip.
Today we are discussing rules and regulations.
You want me to play the clip where Charlie says that he doesn't like
it's
us?
Short. Jason will enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It doesn't matter.
I got it saved. It's right here. It's right here.
It's fine. It does.
Hello, let me just say I don't like either of you.
Well, that's understandable. See?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're so proud of that.
He's only been on the show like 4 times. Yeah, he doesn't like us, but he will come on if I ask him. If he's got something to say or not.
Such a great guy.
I had no idea.
This guy looks just like Kenan Thompson. Yeah. This guy looks just like.
I don't like Patrick, so Jason, that's part of that.
It's okay. It's okay, Kevin.
We are self-loathing. We are self-loathing, so it's okay. I don't even like myself sometimes.
Pure window dressing, as has been exposed by outlets like Filter Magazine, trade organizations like the vapor manufacturers, the U.S. appeals courts, and now the U.S. House Oversight Chair investigation. The FDA has continually bowed to politics and ignored the science, so much so that only companies that will be impacted by this rule are brands owned by tobacco and pharmaceutical companies. The manufactured moral panic promulgated by confusing public messaging by the FDA, wittingly or otherwise, thrust citizens back to combustible tobacco product use. By action and inaction in public messaging, it exaggerated unfounded fears of nicotine vaping device safety. This brings into question the FDA's true urgency to reduce combustible tobacco use. What it's really doing is denying safer tobacco harm reduction options to 31 million American smokers. Many people would agree that the Tobacco Product Scientific Advisory Committee should have been consulted before the CTP set out on its mission to rewrite its rules at the 11th hour in an attempt to ban 99.99% of vaping products that American adults actually use. In my view.
So right there, you sort of touched on something that I've been saying since 2014 actually, and that FDA has been aware of since then, and anybody with clean ears would know about, is the fact that they have already told you what their expectation and their plan is. Since they released the original announcement of the deeming, they have been fairly clear that they intend to regulate 99.9% of the industry out of the industry. That is what their announced plan was. That's what their initial financial impact report stated. I mean, obviously, they stated that they only believed that they were going to get 20 or 30 applications in total. So, but their end game has always been to get rid of everybody that they don't want, that they don't already have business relationships with. They know the tobacco manufacturers by first name. They've been dealing with them for decades. They already have shorthand communications with each other. Those are the people that they want to do business with, that they want to regulate, because they already have relationships that are existing. And, in 2014, in April of 2014, when they released the initial deeming announcement, the next day they released their financial impact analysis report, and they stated in black and white on that thing, we fully expect 99.9% of the industry to exit. And that's the game plan that they've been playing by ever since.
Yep.
We're going to fight like motherfuckers, don't get me wrong, but we need to learn how to play the game that they're playing, because they're playing like 3D chess and we're over here playing like checkers,
Right.
I've been saying from day one, you don't hire your friend that's an attorney to fight for you. You hire the meanest motherfucking shark that you can find.
Yep.
You want the guy that's going to bring the fucking machine gun to the fight, not the guy that's going to bring a slingshot to the fight.
Yes.
And the problem is by and large, other than Azim and Keller and Heckman, we've been relying on a fucking crazy motherfucking attorney from Kentucky that likes to shoot a crossbow towards his neighbor's house and then blame it on his fucking Ambien. I mean, it's been disbarred twice. For some reason, this guy is the guy that people keep giving money to.
Who are we talking about?
I'm not saying his name on the show because...
Oh.
But everybody knows that I have this guy. Back when we first started our show, there was a guy named Duncan Hunter from California. He was a congressman that vaped, and I met him and immediately knew that he was a fucking crook. I did a show on and basically told everybody this guy's a fucking crook. And don't trust him. And apparently he was in thick with some of the other sketchy vaping advocacy people. And this attorney guy was one of those people. And he posted on Twitter, he sent a message to Dimitri, who started the network that we were on at the time. He's like, you need to muzzle that guy. You should know, And I said, this is the fucking truth. You're an attorney. I mean, you have sort of ethical code. And he said, ethics are not important. And I'm like, what? You're taking money from people and you just told everybody in the entire world that you don't give a shit about ethics. If you're going to screw people, you're going to screw people, whether they're, ethics are really important. And then later on, he posted about catapulting illegal immigrants over the border, and Anyway, Dimitri and Phil keep threatening that they're going to write a tell-all book about everything they know, and I have requested that Kevin and I get a chapter because we got some. I know where some of the bodies are buried. But all right, let's finish your thing. You got 28 seconds, and then we'll go on and listen to. The next like 4 speakers are all like the who's who
Meredith.
of anti-vaping assholes.
Meredith. Meredith.
All of this was done for the apparent benefit of a golden parachute and a pharmaceutical company advisory board seats for, among others, the former director of the FDA Center for Tobacco Products. I would also like to express concern.
No. He left FDA so he could retire and spend time with his family.
Right.
He didn't accept that position with Pfizer for like 6 months.
Right.
Yeah, that was
concerned that in its 10.
Oh, and we're not even going to discuss the fact that the vaping device that Bloomberg is pushing through was initially brought to the FDA during Gottlieb's tenure and Zeller's tenure, and now Zeller is on the board of that pharmaceutical vaping device. That's like the very first thing that they announced when he retired was that he is now on the advisory board of the company that's making the pharmacy vaping device that they're pushing through the pharma pathway.
Plus years of existence, the Tobacco Products Scientific Advisory Committee, representative of the general public position, has never been held by an informed ex-smoker who uses safer nicotine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Up next.
Yeah, did you see how fast it took you off the screen? Thank you.
Yeah.
Right off.
Thank you.
You got
Now you're going to
5
notice when
minutes.
other people were speaking that the ding 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 played and they went for another 20 or 30 seconds. But you, as soon as you're ding, they cut you off and disappeared right off the screen.
Oh yeah.
But Jason gets his again later on.
Well, hey, hold on a minute. You know, when I was when all this was going on, I thought I was done, and I was like, kind of, you know, coming down off the high, and my forehead stopped swelling and getting red, and I was telling my coworkers, like, you know, I'm done. I had notes all on my office door. Don't open the door. You know, I'm in an FDA meeting. You know, webinar. And then I just looked back at my computer; it was still running, and I was like, "Holy shit! They opened it back up again. I'm gonna raise my hand to speak again." So, and they did it. They fucking did it.
See, the only thing you did wrong, the only thing you did wrong was you mentioned that you were already on because it's a different host.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because this is the second host. There was the lady, and then this guy, and then there's another person later on. If you hadn't said that you'd already been on there, you could have really stretched it out another. You could have got the full 5 minutes.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you said, I got cut off before, and you're like, you know, if it had just not said that, they might have. Because you abruptly.
That's my moral compass talking.
Yeah, you abruptly ended at the end of that. Is kind of an abrupt end as well. But anyway, let's see who's. Oh, Meredith is next. Oh yeah, let's.
Oh God.
Next, we have Meredith Berkman.
Oh.
Meredith Berkman.
Meredith Berkman.
Is she sober?
Hi, I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yes, you have 5 minutes for your comment. Please proceed.
Thank you
She's got her mango Chardonnay.
so much. My name is Meredith Berkman. I am a co-founder of Parents Against Vaping E-Cigarettes.
Now, I do have video for her son that we could play where he says, you know.
Yes, you do.
The kids are going to do whatever the kids want to do, and no matter what, you know, they're not going to stop us.
I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to address you this morning. And our organization is supportive of this very detailed and extensive rule. And
now Addie's voting that we fast forward through Meredith. Do we want to listen to Meredith for a minute then cut the last 4 minutes off, or do we just want to skip?
Meredith.
Does everybody agree to fast forward through Meredith? I got to see some
Raj
votes in the
comes on
chat
and
room
gives
where
her
I'm
a
going to
kiss.
play
I
the
don't
whole
know.
thing. Mallory
Yeah,
says her
Governor
ears
Numbers.
are bleeding.
Yeah.
Mowgli says that she's a sea hag.
Sea hag.
Omicidal says kill it with fire. That's not very nice.
Douse her
We
with
kill
some
it with
alcohol.
fire.
All right, Toasty Cheese says fast forward. So let's see. We'll fast forward here. All right. She's got 2 minutes
is
left.
possible under regulation because, as we know, in the youth vaping epidemic, that products that are long periods of time without full regulation or implementation is particularly dangerous and damaging and can lead to youth initiation. So again, I want to be thankful for the opportunity, and I am supportive of the regulation.
Oh God.
We don't want to ban anything from adults.
Let's just take all the joy out of life, boys and girls, because Meredith is an unhappy woman. Apparently, she has not been.
Careful. Watch yourself.
I know. I almost said something that would have gotten me in trouble there. I'm just saying that she may need to get laid. Who said that?
She hasn't had enough Chardonnay.
Oh, good morning. Stacey Gagosian was unable to join today, so I will be speaking on her behalf. My name is Maham Akbar, and I'm a...
Now, I included these people to show you. So Jason at this point is the only pro-vaping voice on this thing so far, right?
Yeah.
So then we have Meredith, the Truth Initiative, Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, boom, boom, boom. And then later on, UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, has a person. What's that cancer center?
Moffitt?
Not Moffitt. It's a person's name. It's really famous. There's essentially a train of anti-vaping people.
Well, we all have a voice.
Now, I cut it out, but there are gaps in between each one of these people where they would say the name of somebody who had signed up to come and speak, and they didn't show up.
Vaping advocates that didn't show up.
Well-known people's names that I know. They said their name, whether they were from this organization or that organization. They said their names and they didn't show it. Like they had signed up, like they were going to be there. They didn't show. Now, Dolores, our friend from Florida, they say her name in the middle here, but she might have been having technical problems because she does come back in the open period at the end and does speak. She actually redeemed, like she got her 5 minutes. But all these other people that are in organizations that are taking money from people, and the one I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to be that guy. That are taking money from people, from businesses. They're the one that I'm thinking of right this moment is a business organization. They call her name. She doesn't show up. Wasn't there. I'm kind of disappointed. I'm not going to play the Truth Initiative. I included her on the video just so that you could see that they showed up. This guy's Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids.
Oh.
This is trying to remember what he is. He's something. It's not Alex.
No, let's
see.
Looked like him.
CEO of What a Smoke, a small vape manufacturer.
Oh,
I would like to
Mark
address some of the.
Ready
to speak. Good morning. I would like to thank the FDA for the opportunity to speak on the proposed requirements for tobacco product manufacturing practice.
So Mark Anton, who used to be the president of SFATA, I don't know what if he's. I know he's something. He's, but anyway.
Practice. My name is Mark Anton. I'm the CEO of What a Smoke, a small vape manufacturer. I would like to address some of the points in the proposed regulations. While we agree it is important to provide consumers with consistent products that they can trust in quality and intended function, the proposed regulations as the FDA has stated are an umbrella approach which allows for both a wide range of manufacturing processes, but also broadens the scope that the FDA can impose on the manufacturer.
All right, so Mark Anton is there. We're gonna keep going. He's talking. There's a lot. This is UCSF, California, University of California, San Francisco. We're gonna fast forward through her. We don't need. I'm just putting them there to prove that they were there and that we were underrepresented. This is California Karen, who runs. She says that she's the voice of 2 different anti-vaping organizations, anti-tobacco organizations. Actually, I do want to play the first the first few seconds of her, because her thing is scary.
Proceed. I'm Pamela Granger.
Now the first thing that I don't personally care about trans things and people wanting to announce to the world that they are whatever they are. But when somebody that's not in that world just feels like they have to include their pronouns so that they can be cool, I think that that they're just doing it just to get people's attention.
A volunteer anti-tobacco coordinator for two coalitions in Northern California. It won't be a surprise, knowing where I am in the North Bay area, that in California, actually, we're working towards the end game. The end game for us would mean ending the sale of all tobacco products.
Good luck.
Just a minute. Let me finish.
This is the end game. We're gonna, in California, we're gonna end the sale of all tobacco products,
but keep cannabis on the menu.
No, well, yeah. So I mean, essentially, what she's saying is in California, we are removing the choice of the free American to make decisions for themselves. Now, I personally don't think that anybody should smoke, but that's my personal opinion, and I would never enforce my will upon you by telling you what you can and can't do. So if you choose to smoke, that's fine. That's your body, your choice, right?
Right.
Isn't that the mantra of these people? But therefore, I don't like your behavior, so I am going to choose what you can do. I mean, that's essentially what this. I'm doing the pointing thing. That's these California. This is the way people in California think. This is why there's no way in hell I would ever move to California, because people in California are allowing Pam/Karen to enforce her. Let me speak to your manager. Bullshit on people.
By 2035.
So by 2035, people in California will not be able to choose whatever they want to do with their body. So essentially,
or with their car. They can't put gas in their car either.
Right.
There we go.
You're gonna get gas stoves out too.
This is so after. Nah.
All right, I'm back here. Just wanted to finish earlier. If I got cut off earlier.
Oh.
I'd like to translate that.
Just wanted to.
You fuckers wouldn't let me finish my sentence.
You cock-sucking fucks.
That's what that was. All right. I'm back.
Look, my tie's off.
And your door's open.
My coat.
And your door's open, but
you're I don't give a fuck. Anybody can come in now. Fuck them.
If you'd have just come on and said, "Hi, my name is Steve, or Jason, and I'm here to say good things about vaping, and that you guys are crushing freedom and small businesses and handing it over to the giant mega corporations that you claim that you hate," and you didn't say,
"Who's giving out hand jobs?" See, that's why I don't do these things, because that's what I would be saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any drugs? I'm looking to score some drugs.
That's right.
It just said that,
Play the tape.
Let's keep going here.
Expressed concern in the last 10 plus years of existence. The Tobacco Products Scientific Advisory Committee representative of the general public position has never been held by an informed ex-smoker who uses safer nicotine alternatives that actually support.
What?
Back it up about 10 seconds and watch her eyes and her hands go down to go, who, what are we doing? Was he here before?
Last 10 plus years of existence, the Tobacco Products Scientific Advisory Committee representative.
So somebody just sent her sent her. You see
PM.
her eye line changed. They sent her a private message. This guy's already been on.
This motherfucker's on our radar already.
Send the 3,000 armed IRS agents after Jason.
That's
We're
right.
digging through his underwear drawer as we speak.
Of the general public position has never been held by an informed ex-smoker who uses safer nicotine alternatives that actually supports tobacco harm reduction. It would not be acceptable for any government HIV/AIDS policy committee to exclude persons living with HIV or AIDS. So it should not be acceptable for you to exclude us vaping advocates either. Please, before finalization of these regulations, please consider actually visiting with an actual ends user like myself to get our thoughts about how well these products actually work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the thing is it's cut out here, but the thing is she took the next minute or so to come to say, if you've already spoken, don't come back in here.
we don't want to see you again, you fuck.
I edited that out, but she did. If you go to the actual video, she says, if you've been in here, this open period is for people that didn't already get to speak.
You've had your 5 minutes, Steve. Jason.
Shame on you,
guy.
Steve, for being a sneaky motherfucker and coming
Don't
back
be
in here.
pulling no Jasons, you bastards.
Sneaky Jason.
But the thing is there wasn't a plethora of people waiting to speak because they ended it early. Every one of these sessions was ended 20 to 30 minutes early because people didn't show up.
Meredith
Vaping advocates.
She was drunk.
The vaping
advocates didn't show up.
Yes.
Business
People that
owners
signed
didn't
up,
show up.
They scheduled this thing to have it to be seamless, and they actually took a 30-minute break in the first section, a 20-minute break in the second session, and they ended this one early as well. They ended the entire thing early as well because nobody else showed up to speak. So, I'm not naming names of organizations. Michael, it's not on you. I mean, of course, you could have signed up if you'd known about it.
Hey,
but
I
the
saw
businesses,
Skip Murray. I found out about this from Skip Murray. Skip Murray posted.
Well, they
the
didn't
link
call
to
her
this.
name, so she may not have signed up. She may have shared it, but she didn't sign up.
She was watching this. She shared the link a couple of weeks before this happened. I signed up from her link, but she was watching it and reporting on it. So I will give her that. She was
no. But again, it's not Skip's fault. It's not Skip's duty either. She's not in the industry anymore. She's just a regular vapor.
I'm not either.
No, but what I'm saying is Michael says that he didn't know about. He said I didn't know I could sign up.
Right.
So Michael's a consumer. I'm a consumer. Kevin's a consumer. If I had known 3 weeks in advance, I might have been able to take a day off to come and do it. But
wait a minute.
The people that are in the industry that this is their job, they don't have to take time off to defend their industry, and they didn't do it. That's
they were sitting back in their office with their feet kicked up, counting money.
Right.
Yeah.
Now James says you were disguised the second time. Did you took off your tie, didn't you?
He took his tie off. He opened his door.
You sneaky.
I changed the camera angle.
He's got 2 cameras on his desk. Yeah.
Aha!
Surprise switcheroo.
All right, let's go. I think the next one is my very good friend, the love of my life, Dolores Orlando.
Oh.
Dolores Orlando?
Can you hear?
Yes.
Yes,
we
can you hear?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to introduce first of all, thank you for coming back around to me. I had missed my slot, but my name is Dolores Orlando. I am with the Florida Smoke Free Association, and I also own actually 5 retail shops in the state of Florida. We are a manufacturer. We were a manufacturer up until the day of the deeming regs that they dropped. That was back in 2016. And we decided, based on the regulation that was presented, that we should shut down our mixing station. That has caused me a tremendous amount of lost revenue. However, we did continue on with prepackaged e-liquid. And for many years, responsible companies such as mine have asked the FDA to issue rules and regulations to ensure the quality of manufacturing and that products would be fit for purpose. Some even suggested that the FDA use the TP SAC in formulating these rules or in developing the PMTA process. Instead, the FDA just sat back for a decade waiting and hoping that all the small and medium-sized retailers and manufacturers and distributors, for that matter, would just fall off and die. They
go away and die. That's what FDA has said without saying it. Like, we're just waiting, for entropy to take over and for all of you to go away so that we can deal with these big companies that we're already friends with, that we have multi-million-dollar agreements with, that pay us their tobacco user fees to keep our doors open. Because, I mean, the CTP, the Center for Tobacco Products at FDA, is 100% funded by tobacco user fees. They don't get master settlement money. They don't. Their entire budget comes from user fees that are paid for by tobacco manufacturers, by cigarette manufacturers. So those are the people that they're used to doing business with. That's who they want to do business with. These scrappy, independent companies that apparently don't know how to do business properly and don't know how to work with the political, the political machine. They don't know who to pay. That's the thing.
ignored calls for manufacturing rules that we had requested directly from small and medium-sized manufacturers. They also ignored calls to get the TPSAC involved. Now the FDA is proposing manufacturing standards only after they illegally implemented a new standard to ban 99.99% of vaping products on the market, attempted to shut down my small business despite no evidence that our products were getting into the hands of youth.
Get them, Dolores.
And were sued because the CTP director, Brian King, overruled the Office of Science when issuing PMTA denials. CTP leadership would rather dismiss its critics as social media armchair regulators than to acknowledge that there are real public health consequences of what they are doing.
That's our lady pirate right there. She's slitting throats right there.
Yes. Where is Brian?
Manufacturing rules for an industry fully dominated by large tobacco companies, as the FDA seems to have intended, were all irrelevant. But when we know that many adult vapers will never be willing to use substandard products and they will return to smoking or using illicit black market products that don't follow any rules whatsoever. They're also ignoring the scientific studies of professionals in the science, Moffitt Cancer Center, and also Dr. David Abrams and other doctors.
Now, Moffitt Cancer Center was the one I was saying earlier. There was a nurse that spoke from the Moffitt Cancer Center. I didn't include her because she is a chemist, and she was talking about like really hard science and volatility of chemicals and yada, yada, yada. It was very technical. Would be willing to studies if the FDA does not have them at any moment. You would appropriate. I'm also available for questions that you might have. Thank you.
Bam.
This is Allison's friend. That was Allison's friend, Allie Vapes.
Blam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dolores has been on the show with Nick. Orlando is one of our favorite people in the world.
Yeah, Nick's been on.
The
Nick father.
I pick on him a lot, but yeah, Nick is in the chat room every couple weeks, so we love Nick. So that was by and large the guts of the tobacco product manufacturing standards open hearings phone call sort of thing that they did. So Jason went on there and he slit some throats, and Dolores came and she finished it. So I'm very proud that Jason sent us the link so that we could bring him on and talk to it. But here, this one's even the next story is even more humorous and fun. Schoolgirls allegedly break into vape shop in Adelaide. This is one of our Aussie friends. This is the story, but I do have a video. I do have video to. Why would I read something when I can actually play it on a video and I don't have to roll
that beautiful bean footage.
Well, have been arrested after allegedly smashing their way into a southern suburbs vape shop. The business owner says he'll have to beef up security, fearing e-cigarette theft is only going to get worse.
Midnight at Tonsley, two 12-year-old girls are caught on camera moments before allegedly breaking into a vape.
I mean,
believe it. Can't believe it.
That's I mean, look at that window. The two little young schoolgirls, 12-year-old schoolgirls smashed. Look how big that like they threw a brick or something through that window. I mean, unless that's like really thin glass. I mean, these are like super women. What were these kids vaping?
Into a vape shop.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it.
The thieves used a brick to smash their way into Vape Hero on Sturt Road. It's understood they cut power to the store, disconnecting its security cameras.
What are these, like special forces?
Wow.
12-year-old girls that they knew how to turn the security system off and the power to the alarm. I mean, this is like covert action right here. I mean,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, once inside, they pinched more than a dozen vapes, including this refillable one that sells for about $120. Patrols from the Sturt police station, only a few hundred metres away, were on scene within minutes.
I have one of those. I have a vape like that. It didn't cost me 120 Aussie dollars.
Well, I mean, 120 Aussie dollars is like $20 US. Now, I mean, I'm looking at these two police women here, like. That one looks kind of like she's strutting her stuff with her hair picked, up high like that.
Within minutes.
This guy with the
K9 unit was here. Apparently they picked up the trail straight away.
Now, where are my Aussie guys? This guy's name is Dawid. 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 Is that a real word? Is that a real name in Australia?
Picked up the trail straight away. When they took some scent off the window, they found the ladies just down the road.
Police dog Zeus sniffed them out hiding on South Road.
I'd say to their parents, they should probably know what their kids are doing at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday night. Yeah.
Officers recovered a box of stolen vapes nearby and returned them to the shop owner. The girls from Clovelly Park have been charged with serious criminal trespass and theft.
Yes.
With vapes in hiding.
They were even running in formation. I mean,
so can you explain something to me? If these children, the 12 alleged children, were smart enough to disable an alarm system,
I mean, we do know. I mean, we do know that the entire island is a penal colony. Let's, be clear. These are highly skilled operatives here. They disabled the power. They disabled the surveillance in the alarm system before they smashed the window. I mean,
and then they got caught. So
it's in their DNA.
But the doggies, it was the doggies sniffed them out. I mean, they had to use Zeus, the the canine dog to track them down.
The other question I have is why wasn't the vape shop owner arrested by the police? Because it's illegal to operate this.
As long as they don't sell nicotine, they're okay. I believe that they can sell
okay, I gotcha.
And theft. With vapes in high demand, the shop owners say they'll now install security shutters to ensure they're not an easy target.
The spotlight is really on our industry, and I think crime will ramp up if the supply of legal or illegal vapes are threatened.
But the Premier says a national crackdown on the sale of e-cigarettes can't come soon enough.
To ensure that vaping doesn't become the next
So let's penalize the people that are doing business properly, because we have unruly kids that are smashing windows and stealing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the justification. Oh, well, we can't force these businesses out of business fast enough so that these kids won't break the law.
Epidemic that harms the health of people, particularly young people.
Peter Caldecott, 7 News.
They could have cut themselves on the glass.
Someone said in the chat that the news announcer has a Kiwi accent.
But it's still Aussie. It's Adelaide.
Yeah, but they said also the Adelaide's paid to come there. There's no convicts there.
That's a lie. The entire island.
They're all drop bears. Especially that Bruni guy.
The entire island.
Oh my goodness.
All right, except for the people that were there first.
So juvenile delinquents, we're doing juvenile delinquent stuff. And then
It's the vape shop's fault. We can't have these. We can't ban these things fast enough.
Oh, there's Paul, son of a bitch. We say
up
drop
just when
bears
we
and
start saying bad things about the island, and then that's my island, he says.
That's funny.
That's my island.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I gotta switch earbuds.
Fine.
I gotta switch vapes.
So sad.
Illegal vapes.
That's right. We're all convicts in our own right.
We're all felons. Only some people get caught.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a nicotine felon.
Yes.
A nicotine felon, he says.
That's right. Might as well. Raise the flag. Here it comes.
Hoist the flag. I got to go over here into my settings because my headphones did not immediately sync. Yeah.
They sound like me.
I put the other ones on the charger, the ones that I just took out, and it just said battery, blah blah blah.
So Jason, you've been vaping how long while he dicks around
Well,
with
from
his little
2010, a friend of mine had a vape shop next to where I worked, so I hung out there every day. So I went through the whole glass bottle phase, the mech mod phase. I've been vaping quite a while. I'm pretty advanced, but I got on the disposable kick, and it was just easier. But
right.
Here we are.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we're back on here. All right. Hey, Janine, did you see that Janine just showed up? The lovely,
yes, she's here.
Janine Timmons
she's here to keep Paul in line. That's why she's here. That's just.
Well, Paul shows up and then Janine shows up, so we have to take the good with the bad.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Wow.
So geez.
Steve's face here. He says, "Oh geez." Oh geez. Let's see. Oh, here. Let's look at this. This is another Aussie story. And it's video.
When a vape explodes, third-degree burns, skin grafting, and a painful journey.
He described the burns as being horrific.
Australian Medical Association President Mark Duncan Smith was the doctor who treated the 40-year-old person.
Now, Kevin.
What?
You know how many times that I've said on this show that only a moron puts a vape in his pocket, right?
Well, I do it all the time. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Never put a battery loose in your pocket. Always put it in a protective case if you're gonna carry a battery in your pocket, and never put a mod in your pocket ever, especially a mech mod.
Right.
But I never put my device in. If I have a t-shirt in the pocket,
stop trying to set yourselves on fire.
Damn it. Idiots. Plus if they leak, like your body heat will make the liquid thinner.
Yeah.
And it'll leak. Now these things here, these billet boxes, they kind of condense on their own. So if you put it in your pocket and it gets even hotter from your body heat, you're just going to make it leak a little bit faster. Yeah. So why would you do that? Yeah. But anyway, let's see. This guy, I mean, this is painful. I'm not going to, I mean, I've treated patients like this. I've had to do burn debridement and all sorts of stuff on patients. So, yeah.
Man after his vape combusted in his pocket. The graphic photos a dire warning just how dangerous this bad habit can be, but the reaction by some shows how addictive it is. What do you think of these?
Now, she's gonna ask this girl some questions, and they're gonna make her look like she's stupid because she's smart enough not to put a vape in her pocket.
Pictures?
Yeah, it's not nice.
It's pretty intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. Does it turn you off vaping?
No. Sorry, I'm not.
Doctors say more needs to be done to deter people, particularly children, from vaping, with 1 in every 7 kids trying it.
Last week it was 1 in every 10. Now it's 1 in every 7, Kevin.
Well, it's going to keep going.
Comes after the federal government announced reforms for stronger regulation, including plain packaging, a ban on flavours, and moves to shut down a growing black market.
The sale of nicotine vapes is illegal in Western Australia without a prescription. Doctors say some can contain up to 50% more nicotine than a standard cigarette.
Up to 50% more nicotine than a standard cigarette. Mm-hmm.
The state government says WA Health has seized more than 22,400 illegal vapes so far. And
so if they've seized 22,400 illegal vapes, Kevin, that means that there's probably 220,000 that they didn't catch.
Right. Oh, easy.
Significant compliance operations are ongoing.
We need to recognise this as a threat to our society and the health of our society, and
a threat to our society.
Of course.
Especially our children.
Rebecca Johns, 7 News.
Rebecca Johns, 7 News.
Well, as long as he didn't lose his Johnson, then I would think he's probably happy. Or eventually will be again. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if it had, then I would actually sympathize slightly, but again,
yeah, well.
Did you see our alcoholic friend? First, Jason is going off to get more whiskey, and now Janine said that someone say whiskey, and now she left too. All these damn alcoholics.
That's what the government wants, is a bunch of angry, drunk citizens.
Compliant citizens.
Yeah. Society is what Janine says. But hey, this next one is like an intelligent scientist talking about harm reduction vaping, Kevin. We'll like this piece.
It's a huge concern for us.
Now this is from VJ Oncology. Now I think we should all be very supportive of VJ Oncology because they fight cancer in the VJ, and we want to make sure the VJ is free of cancer.
that are working in the field. I think the population, certainly the populations we're looking at with lung cancer screening, who are very long-term smokers, who have either tried to quit and haven't been able to, or they've just not tried to engage with quitting. Vaping is a fantastic alternative because it is up to 9.
Vaping is a fantastic alternative. It is up to 95%.
95% less harmful. And so if we can get people to switch from combustible tobacco to vaping, then we've got a real opportunity for a public health benefit. I think the balance of that needs to be, the messaging needs to be really careful. And we're trying to be quite specific in saying, if you don't smoke, don't vape. This is not something we're encouraging, youths and teenagers, young people, or even adults to take up if they're not smokers already, because it's not harmless. No one is trying to say that it's harmless, but I think as a harm reduction measure in individuals like the lung screening population.
So she says that we're not telling, that they don't want people to start vaping that never smoked.
Right.
Now,
Which is a ridiculous
obviously,
thing to say.
in a perfect world, that could be the case. But you know what? People are going to seek out experiences, new experiences. They're going to try things. And I would much rather anybody that's going to experiment, whether they are a 40-year-old man or a 20-year-old kid or a 21-year-old kid, if they're going to experiment with something, let them experiment with the safest thing that they can experiment with.
But
don't dissuade people. Don't dissuade people from making their own fucking choices. Is basically what I'm saying.
Right. Because you both of you, I'm sure, waited till you were 21 to try whiskey. I'm very confident, shaking his head. I'm extremely confident that even I did. There was no way I was going to try.
I went to an Irish wake when I was like 9 years old, and they were handing out whiskey. What the fuck are you talking about? In my family.
And then, as you're being told, grow up, you little bastard, wait a minute, it's just me maybe, then you think, well, I'm going to try the adult things.
Yeah.
So
now, if Janine is going to take a shot every time somebody says whiskey, I will take a drink every time Janine takes a drink.
Yeah, I'll take a drink. Yeah, I'll take a drink.
A drink of what? Whiskey?
Yeah.
Got my drink right
here. Yeah. I'm surprised Fake hasn't come in yet.
Now, if you really want to see Patrick drunk and like going off on fucking tears, go to the Facebook page and scroll through the history of the show, and you're gonna find some shows with Kevin and Fig and I, where like Kevin is the only sane. Kevin is the only sane person in the fucking room, and Fig
He
and
called
I,
you Karen.
Oh, there's a picture. Get the picture. Cue the picture.
Have you not seen the picture of Kevin as a Karen?
Oh my God.
Karen.
Oh my God. You don't even.
There is photographic proof that Kevin is a Karen.
Quit fucking around and put it up there with your whiskey ass breath. Oh, she's not drinking, but that's okay. We won't tell them. Oh my God. Get the Karen thing up and out of the way.
I found it. It took me a minute. I had to go through Facebook. Here.
Oh.
He hashtagged it Karen.
I'm pretty calm your ass, Kevin. Karen?
Kevin Karen. Oh, yeah, there he is.
There we go. That's right.
My name is
right.
Kevin.
Stuck your managers.
It's proof. It happens. This is why he wears a hat right now, because he doesn't want you to see his
Karen I want to hide my blonde. That's right.
Nobody's supposed to see that. That's what his hairdo is. All right, let's add this chick back.
We really need it as part of that toolbox to try and improve health across the board.
VJ Oncology. Let's save the VJ.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not vagina. It's not about vagina. It's about video journal. For video journal of oncology. Oh, damn! I thought it was about saving the VJ.
Now, is that Australia?
That was Australia. She was.
That's extremely brave of that.
Unless she's an Australian accent that lives in somewhere or some other country. But
all right, I applaud that.
So in this is one of those situations where I have to applaud, because this is from a news story, and it says student charged for vaping THC in Upstate school bathroom.
Wow.
So they actually, and this was in the headline. This was actually, factually reported in the headline, which I thought, well, this is a breath of fresh air. They actually did it right. So yeah, let me find this here.
James said, was that in the UK? For that?
No, it's in one of the Carolinas. It's in one of the, and for some reason I didn't download this one. Huh.
VJ, what?
Well, I'm waiting for the commercial to end because I have to actually share a YouTube page because I did not download this one, which is weird because I downloaded everything else. But that's okay. So yeah, it says right here, student charged for vaping THC and this was also the headline on the website. So let's check this out.
As you head out the door now, we got new details coming out of Union. And a 16-year-old is facing charge. Police vaping back. High. Police say a school resource officer was notified the girl's bathroom smelled like marijuana.
Now, answer me this, because I've never been around a THC vapor product. Do they actually smell like pot?
They smell lemony, like lemon or the terpenes. Usually, the skunky aroma. Usually, pine.
Yeah,
limonene.
I'm quite familiar with what pot smells like, but I've never been around a THC vaping product to know whether or not it has the skunky weed smell or not. But she says that
usually
somebody
lemony.
reported that the bathroom smells like marijuana, wacky tobacco. So that was interesting.
We're also learning that student confessed to having a nicotine vape pen in her backpack, a cartridge with liquid THC as well. For those who don't know, that's an extract of marijuana. The student has not been identified because of her age, but we do know she's now facing charges for possession of a controlled substance. Educators say vape pens are becoming an increasing problem in schools across the state. Spokesperson from the Union County School District released a statement saying in part, quote, unfortunately, DAP pens and their availability to the students of South Carolina.
Now, let's be clear. They're actually using the proper verbiage here. They're blaming this on, I mean, obviously they had to include the fact that they found a nicotine cartridge in her bag, but they're actually pointing the finger at THC in this actual article. When most of the stories about vaping THC we see, they exclude the fact that it's THC or marijuana based vaping until somewhere deep into the article.
Conveniently.
So I'm actually, clapping my hands that they're reporting properly.
Yeah.
Because most media are not reporting factual correctness in their articles. Well, maybe somewhere hidden in the articles, but they're doing it disingenuously.
They're conflating the two.
Yeah.
Has become an issue that schools across our state are going to have to continue to combat to protect students. We will continue to educate our students about the dangers associated with these devices in hopes that they make good choices to abstain from using them.
As far as I know, the Carolinas, cannabis isn't legal. And so they're using a Delta 8 or a Delta 9, whatever cartridge, THCO, which is a hemp-based product, in my opinion, more than likely, unless they're getting it from someone out of state. Yeah.
Or they're a Texas police officer that pulled somebody over that was in Colorado and then put the
Right.
vape in their pocket, and when they
Right.
thought nobody was looking, they take some hits off of it. I mean,
Right.
and that is the shame of living in Texas, is that we are being demeaned and attacked because our police officers are so crooked, apparently. But here, you're in Oklahoma, right?
Yep.
Oklahoma, when the wind comes screaming down the plain. I'm sure you've never heard that one before.
Oh yeah.
All right, where's it at here? Oh, here it is. Let's check this one out. This is from your backyard.
Fox 23 News at 6:30. I'm Shay Rozzi.
And I'm Sarah Whaley. We are here breaking down today's top stories as you settle in for the evening.
All right. I really paused that at the most unfortunate time for the lady in the red dress. Sometimes we see very attractive young ladies doing the news broadcasts, but this is not one of those times.
All new at 6:30, Oklahoma lawmakers are cracking down on vaping in our schools. A bill recently signed into law makes it tougher for students to find places to hide their vapes.
Fox 23.
So we've covered child abuse on this channel quite frequently, Kevin. So listen to this and tell me your thoughts.
Tony Motorzitsky spoke with a lawmaker who says he hopes this helps school districts keep vaping under control.
Vape stores across Tulsa are seeing more people under the age of 18 trying to buy vapes like at You Suck Vapes.
It's getting so bad.
You Suck Vapes.
Bad name.
You Suck Vapes. So
That's the Oklahoma standard.
So apparently the store next to it says I swallow.
Maybe.
Or I spit.
That, we get one or two a day.
Oklahoma lawmakers are helping school districts get a grasp on the growing trend that they see in schools.
It's very dangerous. And
now look at this guy.
Never
Take
heard
a
of
look
him.
at this guy.
Is that Meredith's husband?
Clay Stairs. He's a Republican, which I am. I'm not going to say, but
among other things.
I want you to remember this guy's face and what he looks like.
what's happening is, from what I'm hearing from the superintendents, is that this is happening in young kids, like in elementary school and junior high.
Representative Clay Stairs pushed a bill through allowing school personnel to do searches when there is a student suspected of vaping.
All the schools.
Searches.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So this pedo, or this guy, thinks it's important that he write a bill so that other pedos can search your fucking kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't say strip search. I'm not. I am conflating a little bit here because I'm sick and tired of this. But listen to the justification.
In my district, none of them have several SROs, and they may have one, but you may have to wait 30, 40 minutes to an hour for them to get to your school.
No.
So they're tired of having to wait for the appropriate law enforcement person to be there.
Parent.
So I'm baffled that they would have to pass a bill because they're either ignorant of the fact that they should call the parents and say, hey, we think little Jimmy's got a vape. Can you come down to the school right now?
Can you
Because
come pat your child down? Yeah.
If mama comes and little Jimmy does have a vape, mama's going to burn his ass and then he won't do it again.
Patrick.
Right?
Which amendment is it that the child doesn't have and this Republican doesn't understand? Which one is that?
I don't think that there's
search
any
and
that the
seizure
child
thing?
doesn't have.
That
But
search
these
and seizure.
motherfuckers, I mean,
That's what I like to hear.
We did a story a couple weeks ago where a student dropped a dime on another student because she didn't like her. So they strip searched that little girl and there was nothing there.
Right.
And that little girl has to go through the embarrassment of being strip searched because some mean girl Karen who's gonna grow up to be a Karen, dropped a dime on her just to bully her even more. This is just allowing that to even happen more. The government legislating, writing it a more open bill, removing children's rights.
What's his name?
Clay Stairs.
Yeah.
To do a search.
Personnel can search through students' shoes, gloves, and non-religious head coverings for drugs, alcohol, and vaping devices.
Evidently, the hiding place.
Now, when I was a kid, the school teacher or the superintendent could go through your book bag at any time. Like, that's not an illegal search.
Book bag, I get.
That's not right.
Take your hat off.
Right. Book
That's
bag.
not an illegal search. That's
I
not
don't like, but I don't. Yeah.
I mean, that's not unrealistic. That's not like invading their personal space. I don't have a foot fetish, but there are people that could. I mean, now they can search their shoes. A broader interpretation of this could. We can strip search them. If we can take their hat off, we can take their shoes off. Why can't we take their pants off? That's what these fuckers.
It's an
open choice
wording.
Became.
And instead of calling the parents, this is the thing: is all they have to do to solve the situation is to say, "Hey, call little Jimmy's mom, call little Jimmy's dad. They're going to burn rubber to get down here to beat their ass." This is Oklahoma. Don't get me. I mean, I'm sure parents still swat their kids, and there's no problem with that. If I didn't get beaten as much as I did when I was a kid, I'd be an unruly motherfucker. You think I'm bad now?
The cowboy boot.
He says superintendents were expressing concern to him.
That is by far the biggest issue that we have in our school.
Students were finding loopholes in the current law to hide their vapes. The current law calls for just removal of outerwear. He says this law will eliminate the game of hide and go seek and keep vapes out of school. According to the bill, school districts will have a designated person to collect all confiscated items and turn them into local law enforcement. Covering news that matters, I'm Tanya Motorzitsky, Fox.
Yeah.
Designated person.
He hasn't been on Twitter since 22. So.
Yeah.
He's from Skiatook, which is north of Tulsa. Tulsa already thinks they're better than the rest of Oklahoma anyway. And he thinks he knows better.
Yeah. I've been living on Tulsa time for a while now.
Right.
That's a good song. I'm living on Tulsa time. All right. Now we got the next two. The next two things are the end. This is everything that we have for tonight. Is these next two things, and then we can just go off on Twitter if we want. But here, the next two stories go under the headline "What the fuck, California." What the fuck, California? One of these is about vaping and the other one isn't, but there's a reason. I always have a reason. Let's see. Oh, this is a new story. So this is a share screen situation. So this says 25 million in grants planned to reduce the sale of tobacco to California youth. California already has $800 million. UCSF gets $800 million. I'm not exaggerating. Well, actually, California State Universities in general get $800 million every year from already existing legislation. Now let's scroll down here. They have to use it since Juul is pretty much out of business or pretty close to being out of business. Let's throw the Juul packaging on here just to ride this. It says in a 2020 student tobacco survey, it was revealed that 91.6% of high school students use some form of tobacco 91.6% of high school students use some form of tobacco or byproduct. 91.6%. Kevin.
What?
Steve or Jason. 91.6%.
They recreated the problem just as I predicted in 2017, Patrick.
Can someone show me any statistical analysis or survey? They didn't link it here. That says that 91% of 92% of high school students in our country, or if the state of California, which has the most robust money situation when it comes to tobacco control and the most expensive, almost the most expensive tobacco products in the country, if you're telling me the failure of all of those tobacco programs is to the point that 91.6% of high school students are using tobacco, please come to Texas.
Well, wait, Patrick. Context, sir, please. I've asked you 100 times. Nicotine-riddled brains have outsmarted lawmakers, tobacco control experts, law enforcement, and
parents.
Shops. Parents. And them little bastards need to get smacked.
91 points. What?
How can you possibly tell me 91%?
I mean,
what?
that if that is if it 91, that would be, I would agree to the term epidemic.
Right.
Youth, if 91% of all kids in the country, of high school students, if 91% of them, 92% of them were using tobacco, I would agree that that is the correct word to use.
Sure.
I would say that this is a fucking problem.
Well, it's evidently
we all know it's only 10%.
Maybe they meant 9.16%.
Damn
boy, that's an awful big error.
They put that fucking period in there. I didn't put that in there. That's a decimal, not really a period. But in this case,
yeah,
they put it there. I didn't.
Well,
these
really
include vapes, hookah, smokeless tobacco, cigarillos, cigars, and cigarettes. DOJ is all in on the fight to protect California's youth from harmful and addictive tobacco products, said Attorney General Bonta. Our law enforcement partners play an invaluable role in this fight, enforcing state and local tobacco laws that safeguard the health of our communities. A report by the California Department of Health, of Public Health and California Tobacco Control Program, which published the survey notes among California high school youth who report current use, the percent of youth trying to quit cigarettes, little cigars, and cigarillos and or vapes increased from 2018 to 2020. Attempts to quit vaping more than doubled in 2 years. So that means 2 years ago it was more than 91.6%.
If you look at the first photo, if you look at the first photo, they're using a 2018 photo.
Yeah.
So they're basing this on 2018 data.
They're saying 2020 data right there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the picture is from stock AP footage.
Right.
Or stock AP. Yeah. But yeah, now they're saying a report by the blah, 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 I just said, which published the survey notes among California high. Yeah. So more people are attempting to quit as well. Even though tobacco products are only to be sold to adults over the age of 21, retailers continue to sell to underage persons. In another tobacco purchase survey conducted by CTCP, coastal regions in California had higher rates of underage sales in 2019. So they're using three-year-old data on this one. Right. In this paragraph, the Central Coast region had the highest rate of underage sales at 55.2%. So are they saying, now see, this is disingenuous, because are they saying that 55.2% of all tobacco sales in this area were to minors, or that 55.2% of the attempted sales actually happened? Either way, that's still kind of telling. The Tri-County South region had the lowest, so they're saying at 9.3% in this one little Tri-County South region, blah, blah, blah. To help reduce childhood addiction to tobacco and its byproducts in the illegal sale of tobacco products to minors, the Department of Justice is launching the Tobacco Grant Program. A grant of $26.4 million is available to law enforcement agencies, cities, counties, public school districts, public college districts, and other local public agency wanting to enforce tobacco-related laws. The grant supports retailer compliance checks, enforcement of flavor ban ordinances, consumer protection enforcement, illegal online and marketing, including use of door-to-door delivery services. I mean, in California, you can order your pot to be delivered by drone. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Retailer training programs, public education outreach, tobacco retail license inspections. So you could get, if you live in California, you could incorporate yourself as a 501c and then apply for this $25 million grant to get some of that money and say, well, I'm going to go to vape shops and I'm going to bring my 12-year-old kid and then try to get them to sell me or sell my kid a vape product and get some money. Just tell all of them in advance, I'm here. This is my 12-year-old kid. Don't sell him anything so you can prove you attempted it and get some of that $25 million. According to the CDC, 99% of e-cigarettes contain nicotine, which is highly addictive and can damage the adolescent brain, the effects of which continue into early to mid-20s, because we all know children's brains are not formed until they're 25, but we let them make all sorts of really important decisions when they're 18, or when you're 18, you can join the military and go off and die for your country. You can
when
vote.
You're 16, you can drive a deadly vehicle into whatever. Yeah,
but their brain is not fully developed, man.
Right. No.
When you're 18, you can open a credit card account and ruin your credit for the rest of your life. You can do all sorts of really stupid things. You can wield the most powerful power, the most important power that a citizen of our country can wield with the vote. That's a very important thing. But you're saying their brains are developed. We can't trust them to elect to make intelligent decisions with elections. Obviously, we can't allow them to vote anymore, so we need to raise the voting age to 25 because their brains are not fully developed.
Well, certainly there's hospital wings full of brain damaged kids and adults that have used nicotine, right?
There's Congress and the Senate are full of them.
Yeah, The parts of the brain that control attention, learning, mood, and impulse control are susceptible to nicotine use at a time when adolescent brains are forming synapses at optimum speed. Nicotine changes the way these synapses are formed. I have mentioned on this show a couple times that I have some college degrees. One of them is in human anatomy and physiology. Another one is in forensic anthropology. And I am a physical therapist now. So I have an idea of how the human body works. And I am a clinical neurological rehab specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So I know a little bit about the human brain. And as a nicotine user during, the 12 to 51, I've used nicotine pretty much constantly during that period of time. I don't think that my brain was affected. I had 4.0 GPA when I went to college.
Is that why current med students are using nicotine vapes during their study sessions?
I would have to say that it didn't really affect my brain development. I mean, Kevin's a cabbie, but he can still drive. It hasn't affected his ability to use his blinkers and to drive his vehicle. And I'm sure he wasn't in that many car accidents when he was a cab driver.
Two. Millions of miles. 2, not my fault. Actually, 3 total. One was my fault.
Jason,
my own car.
Jason knows how to preserve dead bodies.
I'm an embalmer. Yes.
I'll make a list and send you a couple.
He knows how to and he knows how to insert those really heavy gauge embalming needles,
instruments.
Jeez, look at you.
I take the bodies apart.
Right.
Like I don't, obviously I do when I was an anthropologist, I do put them back together so that I can see how they were killed. But I don't know the verbiage of the embalmer because we don't do that. We send that to somebody else.
Preservation.
And normally in the course of my investigations, there was not anything to embalm.
Anthropologist. Right.
Yes. They were put in the ground, and the flesh had to be removed to look at the bones.
That's right.
That's my job.
Now,
that was my job. Not my job anymore.
There it is. I'm going to grab the Victor share screen real quick just because of who we're talking to, and I think you'll appreciate it. I'm assuming it's big enough.
No, I'm just waiting for it to actually appear. It was slow to form.
There we go. Now, earlier you mentioned there's a spot and a check mark where you have to, put things with tobacco use. And this was a tweet from 2016, remember, but nicotine addiction is the single greatest cause of preventable death in the world. It's time for whatever the fuck link they were stupid about. So I said, death certificate, please. So I figured you'd appreciate that, if anything. So there you go.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. One of the things on the death certificate here in Oklahoma and actually nationwide, they've instituted for statistical purposes is, did tobacco cause the death? Yes or no?
Did they actually put a new blank on there that said the thing that shall not be named? Is that
no. But so that was part of my thing was there's no statistical block of data for vaping because it's not tobacco. It's just nicotine. So, tobacco, until that $9,200 or whatever is out there floating around for someone to prove a cause of death by vaping, that will stay unclaimed because there's not a death because of vaping.
Well,
as of yet.
According to the story that we covered last week, a nurse told a patient that the reason she had a spontaneous pneumothorax was a boy, not a girl, was because of vaping, and you were on death's door. So if that person had died, the nurse doesn't, have the authority to fill out the death certificate. But
so
if the doctor that treated the patient said, well, your pneumothorax was caused by vaping and you died from your pneumothorax, which is not really,
no.
If it goes untreated, you could die from it, I guess.
Pneumothorax is caused spontaneously in thinner men, from what I understand. So that's not something that's triggered by.
Right.
Well, there's more than one cause for a pneumothorax. Right. I've had 300-pound, adult people have a pneumothorax, but Normally it's brought on because they have CHF or something where there's fluid built in their pleural cavity, which is pushing on their lungs, and the fluid actually over the pressure,
which is in the lungs,
essentially overpowers the positive pressure in the lung is overpowered by the crushing of the fluid, and then you get a
pleurisy.
Then they, So yeah, we could talk about that all day, but it's just ridiculous. But anyway, let's go back to this because this is only part one. Once the brain and body becomes used to nicotine, it changes the normal regulation of moods and sleep. This can result in temporary symptoms of nicotine withdrawal when nicotine is not in the body. Symptoms include irritability, restlessness, feeling anxious or depressed, trouble sleeping, problems concentrating, and craving nicotine. So we all know that nicotine is an actual neural focuser. It improves memory. It improves recall. It actually calms you down. Like, we all know this because we experience this because we've been using it and we know what it does. It doesn't cause, nicotine withdrawal. I used to, when I was a smoker, as soon as I would wake up, I would go to the bathroom, I'd light a cigarette, sit on the toilet, and do my morning rituals. Now, as a vapor, I get up, I do my morning rituals. I don't bring my device in the bathroom with me in the morning. I drink my coffee, I get in the car, I start to leave the house. When I'm backing out of the driveway, that is probably when I normally will take my first hit off of my device.
You don't Vape?
I do Vape, but not normally in the morning. Yeah,
that's right.
I do.
Cause of death, Vaping.
Normally the first thing in the morning. I would drink coffee on the toilet first thing in the morning before I would Vape. The coffee's way more important to me first thing in the morning.
You're addicted.
You addicted bastard.
You're addicted to caffeine.
Dude, if I don't drink like 6 cups of coffee a day, the world is just gonna be horrible.
You're addicted.
See, even Janine Vapes. Mallory says ew, but I think she's being disingenuous. Methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Oh my goodness. So I've got a question, Jason.
Yes.
I'm assuming you don't actually do the cause of death yourself.
No,
right?
No, I don't. I'm not a licensed medical practitioner. No,
not a medical examiner.
Okay. Now, let's use my mother as an example. My mother never smoked, and I got her death certificate. She was around secondhand smoke almost all her life. Mm-hmm. With my father for 21 years. With her second husband for at least 20 or 30. And she was 71, I think, when she died. And it was heart failure was the cause. Mm-hmm. But is it because they didn't know she was with a smoker all her life that they didn't put smoking related?
Well, in Oklahoma, every state is different, on the death certificate, how they put it. But there's a standardized, from what I understand, I haven't seen many other states' death certificates, but from what I understand, there's a standardized, did tobacco contribute to the death? Yes or no? Now, in the actual cause of death, it might list heart failure due to COPD or atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, and also there's also contributing factors. And actually, in the contributing factors, it wouldn't show secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke causing someone's death wouldn't actually show up on the radar on the death certificate unless your mother's medical chart showed her checking in at every doctor's visit being, I'm around my husband who smokes every visit, and it's charted, Yeah.
So if for example, an older person goes to the hospital and passes away of a coronary artery disease or any one of those, if they have a stroke and they die, whatever. If that hospitalist doesn't have a good medical history of that patient, they're not going to call your general practitioner, your PCP. They're not going to go and say, okay, give me a medical history. They're going to ask the daughter or the son or the niece or nephew, whoever brought them in, for an abbreviated medical history when they bring them in. If they don't have all that, the ER doctor is going to get most of that.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come up during that conversation with the ER doctor, it's not going to be put on the chart. The doctor that sees you in the hospital is going to either they're going to do a chest X-ray, they're going to do if while they're treating, if the patient's had a heart attack, they may do a cardiac cath, they may do something to see what's caused the heart attack. If you're still alive, they're going to do EKGs, they're going to do all these things. None of that is going to show. The tobacco use will never show up in that unless they do a chest X-ray and they're going to go, oh my God, these guys' lungs look awful.
Right.
And unless there's a reason to specifically do it, they're not even going to request the body be examined after death.
Nope.
They don't autopsy every person that dies. The only people that get autopsies are going to be crime related, or
unattended.
Something that just happened and nobody
unexplained.
knows why.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna. I mean, they're not gonna do postmortems. They're not gonna do that. They're just gonna say, you know what, they died of a heart attack. And that's that.
So the secondhand smoke is kind of a may, could, might thing.
That's never going to happen. I don't think that's ever going to show up on any death certificate, because
it won't show up unless you ever check in, and it's only going to come into play when you buy an insurance policy and it's a non-tobacco user insurance policy. Would they ever check your medical chart?
Right.
It's never going to follow you.
So you see where I'm going.
And there is no comprehensive medical file that's floating around. When you're in school and you act up and they say, well, that's going to go in your permanent record. That really doesn't exist.
Right.
Now, the NSA might have a folder on you somewhere
that they do.
Yeah. The people listening to every phone call that you make.
I'm adding to mine right now.
If you ever watch the Simpsons movie, there's a whole vast room full of people listening to every phone call that's occurring or every conversation that's occurring near a computer. But so those types of intent, when you watch a movie or a TV show, that's not really the way it happens. I mean, they don't. Doing a full autopsy is a very rare occurrence unless you live in a big city where you have a high crime rate. Right. And normally, if it's like a gun-related death or something like that, there's enough witnesses nearby that know. Well, we saw that guy shoot that guy with that gun.
Right.
The biggest pandemic that I've seen, and I'm not saying the word.
Don't say
I won't say it. But it's been methamphetamine and heroin and fentanyl.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
I've seen more of those things than the other, and that's the bigger problem that I deal with.
We had, when I worked in the hospital, we had a guy overdose. 911 was called. The ambulance came. They got there in time. They gave him a shot. He came out of it, and he complained to the paramedics that they ruined his buzz. And then 2 hours later, they brought him in. He was dead because he had shot up again. I mean, that's a whole problem that we need to be dealing with. Way more important than nicotine use. But speaking of problems that need to be addressed, And we just showed you California is giving out $25 million for nicotine vaping enforcement. This is a video that came across my feed that I thought I would share with you that shows how fucked up the priorities in California are.
Good evening. We are currently...
Now look, that chick has a fucking syringe in. She's holding. She's got a fucking syringe in her mouth. She's holding it between her teeth while she's tying the tourniquet around his arm.
The Tenderloin.
This is messed up,
San
man.
Francisco. I'm walking home right now. And as you can see, my community has become completely uninhabitable. I'm paying $1,400 a month in rent to be surrounded with bodies, fecal.
Look at that zombie right there. Look at that dude walking. Look at this. This
fecal needles
Democrats.
and foil. I can't keep living like this.
Terrible.
So, I mean, I'm not saying, people that are drug users need help. Like some of those homeless people that they just put whack past, some of those tents are homeless vets. And yes, he's paying $1,700 or whatever he said, $1,200, whatever, for renting San Francisco. That's pretty fucking cheap. But it's probably two people in one apartment, and they're paying $2,400 or whatever. But
Has a closet, yeah.
But that is the situation. $25 million they're throwing out there for nicotine enforcement. When you have all of those, you have people shooting up right in the open where people can see. There's no clean needle exchanges. There's no safe injection sites. There's no safe supply. You got people living on the streets in squalor, shitting on the streets legally. You're paying something like $3 million a month to a human waste disposal company to come and clean the sidewalks of human shit, when you could be helping those people instead of wasting the money. That's how fucked up their priorities are. Where is the humanity and the compassion and the empathy? No, let's just let them, let's just let them shoot up on the street, let them shit all over the sidewalk, let them destroy the community instead of helping them and getting them someplace where they can be safe and out of the elements and help them with their problems.
There's no money in it, Patrick.
But they have $25
Actually, there
million.
is.
I mean, there's plenty of money. They're wasting $3 million a month on human waste disposal. If they just clean the streets up and then help those people find safe places to be, then they wouldn't be spending the $3 million on human waste or people taking a dump on the sidewalk.
How many grants are given for homeless?
None. They should be taking that $25 million.
Right.
Some of that $800 million that they collect and they're giving to the universities in California to do tobacco research and get the people off the streets, clean the supply, give them safe injection sites, do needle exchanges. The hepatitis number is probably through the fucking roof. The AIDS number, the HIV number is probably through the roof. They don't care because the HIV meds they get a kickback on.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
good night, James. Thanks for joining.
I'm a fucking conservative that believes all taxation is theft. But
well, it is.
If you're going to steal my money, at least do something good with it.
No.
I got to say that probably 20% of what my workflow is unclaimed homeless individuals that have moved from other parts of the country that people don't even, their family and friends don't even know that they're gone.
The people that the good people walk past on the sidewalk and
Right.
don't look at.
So when they wind up, their case file winds up on my desk. I go through their phone trying to find family and friends or drug dealers on their phone list, you know, somebody that knows them to let them know.
Do you know the guy's name? Do you know the name of the guy that I'm calling from?
Right. Yeah. And so, you know, that's my day in a nutshell. Trying to find someone that even knows that they're gone, you know, and it's just those people in the Tenderloin on the sidewalk. It's the same. That's who I deal with, you know, after they're gone. So, you know, those are at public expense, you know, those type of service arrangements are at public expense. So it's the taxpayers taking care of the final arrangements for these people that don't even, you know, they don't even know.
Like I said, a good number of those people are probably retired service people, probably people that served this country.
Lots of vets.
A lot of PTSD
Lots of vets
are being ignored. They're waiting in line for hours and hours at the VA to get treatment. And if you're mentally ill, the last thing you want to do is stand in fucking line.
Nope, they can't be caged like a wild animal like the public health wants them to be. It doesn't work that way. Those people can't assimilate into group homes or you know, shelters. They don't. It doesn't work that way. There's got to be a better way. They haven't figured that out yet.
They're used to living in they're living in tents on the side of the road because that's what they're used to in the service.
Right.
If they were in Afghanistan, they're in the green zone in a fucking tent.
Right.
Or what's the buildings that they throw up that are dome shaped?
Barracks. Yeah.
Whatever. They're not. I mean, they're not. They need to treat these people where they are. We've been saying this. You need to meet them where they are, and that's whether they're vaping. That's whether they're IV drug users. That's whatever. If they're PTSD patients, we need to be compassionate and deal with them where they are, get them the help they need, and eventually transition them off of the fucking sidewalk and into a way of
somewhere
life
safe
that they can be safe. Quonset hut, thank you, Addie. That's the word I was looking for.
Quonset hut, yep.
Addie's old enough to know these things.
Yes, he does.
So, yeah, I didn't want to end the show on a negative note, but I mean, I saw this $25 million grant nonsense, and I saw this short just showed up on my fucking feed, and I was disgusted because their priorities are all fucked up.
Well, yeah.
How can we fix it?
California.
It's up to
This is California. This is supposed to be the state of liberalism, progressivism, and empathy. You know, they claim that they care about these people.
It's the children.
And you know, they make it impossible for nonprofits and religious organizations that would go and help them. They make it impossible for them to do that. To go down there, if you're a church group or a fucking nonprofit and you want to set up a soup kitchen, or they're gonna make it
permits
so
and license.
That's what we had here.
Permission to help people.
We had people that were doing that in downtown Dayton. The libraries back then, the library's backyard was almost a block wide sea of grass, really, and a couple of trees. And that's where they would congregate most nights, especially in the summer. And this food truck would come up. I'd drive by my cab. They were giving them coffee, donuts, food, all you could have. Years later, in another situation, the lady walked in, paid her receipt when I was doing retail. And she said, I have a tax exempt number. And I said, okay, honey, who are you with? Just curious. And she told me, and I said, weren't you guys the ones that were downtown years? She said, yeah, they ran us out. The city wouldn't let us feed the homeless. Wouldn't let us feed the homeless. Are you out of your fucking minds? Oh my God.
They got regulations for everything else, Kevin. They got to have regulations for charity and meetings, apparently.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's BS, my friends.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my Twitter just blew up too.
You take away their dignity and then you won't feed them as well. You motherfuckers.
So I guess next week we'll try maybe VAEP has been messaging me that they want to come on the show, Kevin. Normally I don't allow people to aggressively seek out to come on the show. She normally has to be my idea. She's already been on the show.
Kelly's been on that show.
Kelly's been on the show. I might reach out to VAEP and bring Kelly back on next week. We did a really good span of having all these amazing people on our show.
We did.
If you go through all of our previous shows, we've had advocates from around the world on this show, scientists, smart people, way smarter than Kevin and I, on the show. Now, Kellyanne is an RN, so she's not smarter than me.
She's way smarter than me.
I'm married to an RN, so you know.
But, vicarious smart, yeah, vicariously smart.
I'm way. I work with. I'm the only boy where I work, and I'm surrounded by RNs and
living in fear.
Way smarter than every one of them.
Man nurse.
No, no. There's no nurses. No fucking nurses, man. I run them off. I like being the only dude working for the company. I'm embarrassed by the stupidity of a lot of dudes they hire. We had a guy that his wife is a script doctor. She works for Disney, so she can live anywhere she, you know. So they came here, and she worked on Coco. Is it Coco? She worked on a couple different scripts for Disney, and like they were ultra touchy-feely people. And
you're not.
I had a patient that had a hip surgery. I don't remember exactly what he had, but he was like, well, that other therapist, he gave me a shoulder massage and a foot massage because I'm like, you're here for a totally unrelated thing. So then when I questioned the therapist, he said, well, we had a social contract, he and I, where to get him to participate in his therapy for his injury or whatever it was, I did those other things just to get him, you know. And I'm like, dude, social fucking contract?
Okay, then.
For one thing, I don't do massage on any patient at all in a home health situation. In an outpatient clinic with a massage table and a controlled environment, that's right. I'm not touching anybody in places that I don't need to touch them ever in their house. No way, no how, unless there's somebody nearby that I can say there's a witness, you know.
Yep.
Not in this day and age. Nope. I shake their hand. That's about as touchy as I get.
Hey, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. And you know, fighting the good fight is kind of in me, you know, and I know it's in you guys too. And
I have a shirt all about like the links that I will go to in our t-shirt store, and on the back of it, it has several phrases from H.L. Mencken, and one of those phrases that's on there is, "There comes a time where every man will make the decision to hoist the black flag and start slitting throats." That's what that's the lengths that we will go. I mean, there's way more cooler phrases on the back of that shirt, but we will do everything possible to save as many people as possible. And if that means that we have to throw the pirate flag up and be Buccaneers, we will do that. Except we don't like Tampa Bay, so I'm just saying I'm not that kind of Buccaneer. But anyway, Jason, I picked on you by calling you Jason/Steve earlier,
good.
But we do like to pick on people on the show. We appreciate you coming. At the end of our show, we always have our closing thoughts, and since we've covered everything that we announced in the show notes that we were going to cover, now is the time to say what you want to say in your closing thoughts, Jason.
Something that comes to mind, Skip Murray comes up every day. Oh, she always says, signs off, be kind. And, I always thought about something that my mom used to say, everybody's fighting a hard battle, everybody you meet. And so, I kind of live by those things now. It's, you try to be the best you can be to everybody, regardless, So, yeah. For what it is, fight the good fight, be kind to everybody, and
Like Kevin doesn't actually believe that, because I've seen Kevin be quite harsh on Twitter to people.
No, I wouldn't do that. I appreciate
that's why you've racked up the bans, man. Twitter blocks.
I appreciate the fact that he doesn't know the cranky old broad as well as he should yet, but that's okay. Because I will tell her that. I appreciate you coming on. I don't like Patrick anyway, so screw him. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you taking the time to talk towards whatever you want to use with the FDA. As a consumer, it's just astounding to me, because I can't do court appearances. I can't do it without saying fuck. I just can't. And you were eloquent, articulate, to the point, succinct, whatever the words are you want to use. And for that, I'm very grateful, because
thanks. That's awesome.
I just don't want a chucklehead like me getting in there going, what the fuck is wrong with you motherfuckers? Why are you not listening to us? Right? So you said it the way it should be said. And you are the example that I'll probably never properly be at this point. I'm so far off on the other side of that I should never be in the court of law for anything. So I appreciate that. And I always appreciate Patrick for letting me on here to fuck around. But I love everybody in the audience. So hopefully you'll stay with us and visit with us or whatever on occasion, at least.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did what you did. So thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Uh-oh. Here she comes. Ah!
See?
Oh, God.
That damn rodent. He's a jughead.
Well, if you say his name,
I know.
It's not the Candyman. I didn't say his name 3 times.
You've seen Chris. I don't know what's going on. He's probably gorging on chocolate.
We didn't mention chocolate, so he didn't make his appearance because we didn't mention chocolate. But yes, I am proud that Jason, our brother from Oklahoma, did go and speak his mind. See, this is the thing.
With help from a lot of people.
But you're newish. You're newish.
I'm a noob. Yeah, I'm a noob.
So if you go to our YouTube channel and you start at the bottom and you work your way up, you will be educated. You will learn, because every week, whether we have a guest that's topic based or whether we're talking about articles, the whole point of when I started this show was to teach people how to become an advocate.
Right.
How to understand what they're reading is nonsense, how to read legislation, how to speak up for yourself, giving you opportunities. This is boot camp, essentially. We do have some fun here. We do make, some jokes, and we, sometimes make bad jokes, but we do entertain as we educate. He's looking off camera like somebody's over there going,
No, I'm reading Twitter. Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, just ignore my Twitter.
Yeah. So, it's good that even you, Jason, as a noob, that's your word, not mine. A noob.
I am.
We're able to go on Twitter. I saw your tweets when you were asking for help that you were gonna participate in this. I remember those tweets. And good people that we know and love, reached out to you. Like our very good friend Charlie helped you.
Yep.
Skip is one of the only people in the world that could say to me, you said something on your show that I didn't like.
Right.
And I removed the show. Like I deleted the show because I hurt her feelings. Like Skip
That's
is
nice.
now don't tell her this, but I actually love her and respect her. So I would never
respect her a lot.
Purposefully do anything to hurt her feelings. So when she sent me a thing saying she was very angry, I deleted the fucking show. I didn't.
Yeah, good.
Like, I thought it was. I didn't think it was as bad as she did, but for her, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to call her my queen because I do have a wife, but Skip is on the top of the list of people that if she called me and said, "Hey, I know this is asking for a lot, but could you come to Minnesota right now?" I would go to my wife and say, "Skip really needs me. Can I go to, can I drive to or fly to Minnesota right now and I'll be back in a couple days?" I would do that. Even Kevin, even though he lives in Ohio, if he had a stroke and needed me, there I am.
I won't have.
Janine, if Janine needed me, I would be in Canada in no time flat because I love Janine.
Janine,
She is an amazing person that I will bring hot lead and dispatch her foes for her.
Yes, me too.
And I actually know how to denature all of the evidence so that no DNA will ever exist.
Same here.
I actually know how to dispose of a human body that no one would be able to find it.
I can make you disappear.
And there would be no requirement for esoteric chemicals or anything. I know how to do it in an all natural way. That's good for the environment.
You watched Breaking Bad?
No, I have never watched Breaking Bad. Is that on there? Maybe I should watch that.
Damn.
Maybe you should.
There's all these really cool shows that everybody told me that I should watch. And I never watched Game of Thrones. I never watched The Walking Dead.
Janice watched Breaking Bad. That makes
never
me
watched Breaking Bad. I watched about a season of The Sopranos, and I have a very short attention span. So it has to grab me and it has to hold on tight, or I'm gonna just fucking wander off. Oh look, squirrel. But anyway, love you guys. Thank you, Jason, for coming.
Thank you.
I'm sure in the future there will be another reason to have you on because you'll do
Hit me
awesome
up.
things, and we will want to make fun of you again and have you come back on.
Hit me up.
I'll reach out to VAEP, and maybe we'll have Kellyanne on next week or something. Because it's good to have guest shows every once in a while, and we've gotten in a rut of doing news stories back to back to back and making fun of videos, which is fun. But it's good to bring people back on. Maybe we'll get Charlie back on and Dr. Glover from New Zealand back on again. She's always good to have on. We love her to death too. Bot shit. Yeah, bot shit. And he's got his little hands and he's waving goodbye. So we love you. We will see you in 7 days unless something. Oh, I'm having skin cancer thing on Wednesday. If I have skin cancer and they cut my face off or something, I may not be able to be on. But I might just have a big bandage on my face like this or something. We'll find out. But we'll love you. We see you. Let's see. Who do we want to say goodbye with tonight? Here, let's do Stan, and we'll do some stuff, and then we'll we'll pick a video to end at the end. All right, bye.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science. What about...
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
The question: how does one man assert power over another? Obedience is not enough. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation, otherwise you cannot be sure. Power is tearing human minds apart and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. All competing pleasures we will destroy. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.